So this guy hunts people for sport. Killers, thugs, anyone he calls prey. His idea of fun? A hyper-violent Murim game, drowning in bodies. Then the cops finally corner him, and one bullet ends the show. But monsters don't always stay dead. He wakes up starved and scarred in a strange and brutal world. Turns out the Murim is that game made real. System window and all. No police here, no laws. Just who's strong enough to kill who. For a man like him, that's not hell. It's a playground. So he climbs the only way he knows, one corpse at a time. Clan enforcers, syndicate bosses, grandmasters, just prey with fancier titles. Every kill, a window ticks him higher, and the grin gets wider. Whole sects scream for the demon's head. Honestly? Fair. The stronger the monster, the more fun he's having. And this world has monsters even he has to look up at. His class? Psychopath. His new home? Built for exactly one. It all kicks off under a blood-red sky in a courtyard of corpses. Under a blood-red sky, an army of Murim masters stands assembled. An old monk stares at the carnage, stunned Manhwa could fall this low. He presses his palms in prayer, a few hardened warriors at his side. Only a demon could stain Manhwa this red. Then a warning. Someone approaches. A lone figure stands in the courtyard, surrounded by bodies. Manhwa, they realize in horror, has been wiped out. One of them gasps. A plum blossom swordmaster, somehow still alive. His bloodied face barely lifts. All of it, the work of one man. Then his sword erupts, light tearing outward in every direction. The masters scramble into formation, screaming to block him. His next strike scatters them like leaves. He moves through them like a storm, blade trailing light. A furious master bellows at him to show himself. The great sects have come for him. Shaolin, Wudong, and more. Ching Cheng, the Namgung clan, every orthodox banner raised at once. The swordmaster just lifts his blade, dead calm. Quite a crowd. One of them snaps at him to shut his mouth. They demand to know who he is and why the massacre. A blade at his shoulder, he came because Manhwa was the strongest. But the rumors, it turns out, were a lie. Armed men gawk, wondering if this is really the sect leader. He lowers his bloodied sword, calm as anything. You all swarmed in together. Then he asks if that makes them stronger than Manhwa ever was. His eyes flash white as the blade comes up. He vows to cut them down and lay Manhwa's souls to rest. The whole pack answers with a wall of sword auras, just as he figured. A cold smile creeps across his face. This place is fun. The grin sharpens into something not quite human. He lets out a slow breath, slumped on a couch, phone in hand. Maybe that many at once was finally too much for him. Then a VR headset and a game case. A virtual Murim world. A new game, infamous for its bloodbaths and realistic dismemberment. The thing drowns in protest mail begging for a shutdown. Still, the protagonist admits there's no game quite like it. Eyes on the late news, he figures next run he'll go quieter. Breaking news cuts in. CEO No of Dado Industries has gone missing. Somewhere dark, he muses that assassination sounds solid too. He sits alone at a desk, a sword beside him, a voice mumbling in the black. The same broken voice begs again, barely a whisper. Spare me. He glances back, flat and bored. Oh, right, company. His hand drifts to the blade. On the floor kneels a bound, bloodied man, pleading for his life. It's No, beaten to a wreck, choking out another, please. He hauls a heavy sledgehammer onto his shoulder. Then he leans in close, dead calm. Spare you? The CEO swears he doesn't know why he was taken. The protagonist crouches, weapon resting easy, in no hurry at all. Behind the man hangs a wall of photos. He sobs, how could you? The answer comes cold. Do nothing, and you never become prey. No screams he's a changed man now. Please, just spare him. The protagonist turns that word over, slow. Spare me. Then a smile spreads across his face. Between you and me? He swings the hammer high, red eye gleaming. Getting a little old, isn't it? A scream rips out as the brute goes down hard. He crouches low, palm on the floor, the giant looming over him. A slab of muscle, all veins and scar tissue. Then the blow lands, light bursting on impact. The big guy snarls through bloodied teeth. Hammer in hand, the giant towers in the dark. You're dead meat. The protagonist just watches, calm, the faintest smile on his lips. Then the attacker lunges, screaming that he'll kill him. The blade comes down between them. Blood sprays as the strike connects. He drives a fist clean through, energy flaring. The giant's eyes bulge as the air leaves him. Then he sends the brute flying. The big body tumbles back through the air. It crashes down, face wrecked and twitching. Now the giant crawls away, begging him to stay back. Clawing at the floor, he screams he doesn't want to die. Most people are herbivores. A rare few are something else. Out in the dark, the predators prowl, hunting anyone weaker. And they exist for one thing: to devour them whole. But one man hunts the hunters, and tonight he's working. He leaves a thug crumpled in the alley, eyes rolled back, and walks off. A single red eye burns in the shadow. This is the one who hunts the carnivores. Cornered and bloodied, the prey waves a pipe and begs him to stay back. The thug screams for the crazy bastard to keep away. The pipe swings down in a blur. Then officers pour in, ordering him to freeze. A detective in a suit folds his arms and names him Dong Bong-soo. The charges land flat: kidnapping, confinement, and murder, the detective adds, while Dong stares back, dead calm. Standing over another beaten man, he only wonders how they found this place. A revolver goes off, muzzle flashing. The detective barks at him to stay put. The rounds are live. A bullet punches the wall beside him. He doesn't flinch. His red eyes stay fixed, empty, not a flicker of fear. He just looks at the gun like it's nothing at all. The protagonist stands on the blood-red battlefield, thinking it's much the same. A cold grin spreads across his face. A scarred man levels a pistol, ringed by armed men. Any idea who I am? The man on the floor is a serial killer who murdered 6 women. He tortured them and snapped photos, toying with each one before she died. The bodies around the room are the same kind, mostly murderers. To Dong, these men are beasts, carnivores hunting the innocent. Red eyes glinting in the dark, he calls himself the hunter who catches those beasts. The killer breaks down in tears. Shoot this guy, not me. The protagonist lights a cigarette, gun never wavering. Is that so? But what can he do when all he sees is a psychopath who kidnaps and kills? The killer stares back, frozen. He tips his head back, gun still steady. I just can't get through to the police. A hand clamps down hard on the gun. Hands seize him from behind, officers screaming at him to freeze. He spins out of their grip in one violent motion. A gunshot rips through him, blood bursting into the air. Falling, one red eye still burning, his last thought is simple: if there's a next time. As the world drops out, he hopes the next one is full of beasts to kill. Then he slams down hard. A face surfaces through cold blue light, one red eye snapping open. His mouth tears wide in a ragged scream. He comes to, gasping, the first thought landing. He's alive, even after the gun. Across from him, an old man in Murim robes folds his arms. Surprised, the kid breathes. The protagonist just stares back, that red eye dead calm. The old-timer's patience snaps. This little brat. He grabs a fistful of the boy's collar and hauls him up. Then he asks if the kid knows how hard he worked dragging him from the marketplace. A fist rears back. Maybe he should just kill him for real this time. But he lets it drop, muttering he's done for the day. See you tomorrow. The protagonist watches him go, eye glinting in the dark. The old man steps off through the doorway without looking back. He shrinks into a distant silhouette and vanishes into the mist. Alone now, the kid rises, purple energy crackling, glowing seals flaring to life. Then it all collapses, and he doubles over coughing. This body. He drops to the floor, drained, one arm flung across the cold ground. His eyes crack open in the dark. The first thought, a confused, huh. He flexes a pair of hands he's never seen, scarred and calloused. This body, he realizes, isn't his. Old wounds crisscross the skin. Where did every one of them come from? Then he looks past the window into a strange, dim room. Something cold and delighted flickers behind those red eyes. And it clicks. He knows exactly where he is. Past the courtyard sprawl pagodas and lantern-lit halls. An old martial world. The Murim, he thinks, the name surfacing on its own. He sits alone in the cell, starved to bone, just taking it in. Light spills through the doorway while he kneels there, still piecing it together. A single tear slips down his face, catching the glow. Quiet and stunned, the protagonist admits it. His wish has come true. A window blinks up, names him Dong Bong-soo, welcomes him to the world of the strong. Then his face splits into a hungry grin. Home at last, in a world for monsters. A pitchfork drags across a filthy stable floor. A horse snorts, breath steaming in the cold. Hauling muck between the stalls is the protagonist, reborn into a starved, scarred body. Then a shout from the doorway, and a name with it, Sosam. The kid flinches and stammers a nervous greeting to Lord Machel. A sour clan officer, he covers his nose and orders the boy to follow. He timidly protests that the stables aren't even finished. A hand snaps out and grabs him by the collar. The old man snarls that this isn't a request. The Danry clan feeds a stuttering orphan, so the slave forgot his place. You're just a slave, Machel spits. Understand? For half a beat, something cold and flat surfaces behind those downcast eyes. He's marched to an armory packed wall to wall with blades. A guard asks where Machel is, and why Dong-o came alone. The younger one smirks. The old man is holed up at the Bongyang Inn again. He throws up a crude thumb, the sign for a drink, and worse. The old smith shrugs and asks if only the two of them showed. Then he nods at the mountain of swords, hard to shift with 2 men. Dong-o just laughs and points back at the silent kid behind him. A shove sends the kid stumbling forward, the clan's free beast of burden. A coworker stands over the collapsed body. Brother Sosam, what are you doing? Get up and start hauling these weapons. The protagonist scrambles up on shaky, scarred legs. The man has his own date at the inn, so the kid gets the extra load. Then he heads off, tossing back a careless good luck. This is the new face our psychopath wears now, worn and gaunt. An old foreman praises the work, then gently tells him to rest. He says the boy's color is terrible, like someone about to die, the elder finishes. So Sam just rasps that he's fine. He staggers off through the red village as a voice calls after him. It's cold, the protagonist mutters, the borrowed body giving out. Then a dark voice whispers, "Do you really want to drag out this bug-like life?" His head snaps up. For a second, the old killer's stare flickers back behind those hollow eyes. Right then, a huge man with burning eyes looms over him, barking at him to move. The body flinches on instinct and stammers a meek apology. A backhand cracks across his face. It sends him flying, and he wonders where it all went wrong. Was it when his family died in the storm and he alone survived? Or when he begged at the Danry gate just to stay alive? Rewind 2 weeks. Sprawled in the dark, the protagonist mutters that it's cold. Faint voices drift through the black, begging to be saved. A barred window glows overhead. He's woken in a cell. His scarred face lifts, that red eye burning awake. He hunches against the wall, hand on his chest, grinning ear to ear. Turns out it's a stable. He's on all fours among the horses. He studies his reflection in the water. So Sam. That was this body's name. A hand grips the trough's edge, barely holding him up. Then he forces himself upright in the dim stable, looking up. The place matches the boy's memories, and he has them now. The real So-Sam was beaten to death, and the protagonist took the body. Then something snags his attention. A glowing status window flickers up, a full game menu, stats locked at question marks. It welcomes him to Murim Online, the world of the truly strong. He knows this interface. Outside sprawls a grand sect compound, and his ration is a bowl of cold gruel. A gruff clan worker grumbles he's the only one in the whole Donry clan shoveling dung. The boy should have just gone home once his work was done, the man mutters. Of all people, he had to cross Peng Do-ryang, a hulking brute everyone calls a psycho. He even sent Dong-o along just in case, and still he's cleaning up after a half-wit. His face darkens. Maybe he should just kill the kid himself. But the old hand clicks his tongue. Too risky. Not worth it. Caught. It's his own neck on the chopping block first. He shoves a bowl down, snapping at the wretch for staying alive just to complicate things. The bowl clatters across the floor by the gaunt figure against the wall. The protagonist just sits there, scarred and silent. Second week already, he figures. 2 weeks since he woke in this body. From what he's pieced together through Mackle and the world outside, here's the situation. First, he watches the courtyard fill with ranks drilling in step. The people here write in Hanja, but this isn't China. The reason comes down to one thing: martial arts. Techniques that only existed in movies and novels are real here. People fly through the air, moving faster than the eye can track. A masked fighter drops in, weapon raised. Hundreds drill in formation, shouting as one. That red eye catches the light, the hunger creeping back. Here, all of it is a living reality. It clicks. This is basically a live-action Murim Online. Second, a glowing status window hangs in the air, the same one from the game. To be precise, the Murim Online window still works, and only he can see it. At first he figured it was a game. The window and martial arts gave it away, but he clenches his battered fist and decides this is definitely reality. Everyone around him has their own emotions, their own lives. They are truly alive, breathing and moving on their own. So what does that make him, the protagonist wonders? A human or just a player? He sits up and reaches for the glowing window, studying it with cold curiosity. Then a heavy-set man leans in the doorway, teasing Brother Sam for living the high life. The grin curdles into a sneer. Someone got beaten and punished because of an idiot. The big man looms over the frail body against the wall. Then So-Sam rises and steps toward him, and the bully blinks, caught off guard. A hand shoves out a chipped bowl with a few scraps of grain. "Look at this guy," the man scoffs, watching him take it. Then he barks that he's talking to him, threatening to kill him outright. But the protagonist swings first, smashing the bowl across his face. The big man staggers back, stunned the runt actually hit him. Both eyes burn red, the predator finally awake in this new body. Then he clamps a hand around the man's throat, squeezing until he can only gurgle. The man gasps his own name, Guak Dong-o, begging him to remember the kid he knew. But the cold red eyes stare back unmoved as the gurgling fades. Red eyes burning in the dark, he says it flat. That man died long ago. The bully bristles, a low growl rising in his throat. Then a hand clamps around his throat and lifts, choking the words out of him. His face twists, eyes bulging, blood on his lips as the grip tightens. Bathed in red, the protagonist bares his teeth, eyes glowing like a predator over dinner. When it's over, he stands over the corpse, blade in hand, red rain pouring down. Blood spatters his face, and his only thought is how hot it feels. Then it hits him, the same nagging question. A human or a player? He wipes his mouth and confirms it. This place is no game, it's real. The great law of this world pours off both the dead man and Machil. The rule here is the one he always lived by, survival of the fittest. That red eye glows, alive in a way it never was back home. Here, he never hides what he is. He can finally hunt to his heart's content. Because predators here are stronger and more monstrous than he ever was, all of them roaming free in the jungle they call the Murim. A grin spreads across his bloodied face. He's right where he belongs. The moment his body heals, the protagonist promises himself, the hunt begins again. He reaches toward the light. A world like this was built for true predators, and his hunting ground is all of it, here in the new Murim. Blood paints the stable walls, the killing already done. He sits calm in the dark, one arm slick with it. A guy like this wouldn't be worth hunting, but there's something to verify. The protagonist pulls up the inventory, a glowing blue window in the gloom. Hand to his chin, he notices something's different about it. Back in the game, the inventory was a grid, one item per slot. Now it's just one massive open space. He presses his hand straight through the rippling surface. The thing is huge, at least 300 square meters. Then he grabs the corpse, testing if it works like the game. Pale fingers clamp over the dead man's face. Store in inventory, he tells it. The body gets dragged into the window whole. Corpse and blood spiral up and vanish into the light. That whole mass, gone in an instant. A useful trick. He wonders if living things go in too, and stay alive. A cold grin spreads. He'll experiment more. Daylight over the Danry compound. Pavilions against the mountains. Two clansmen gossip in the yard while he sweeps behind them. Both of them laughing, trading some joke at his expense. Broom on his shoulder, So-Sam watches them, dead flat. Backlit and still, the protagonist stands with a staff in hand. Then a clanman steps up, looking him over. A sneering thug leans in, asking the half-wit if he went mute. He just gives a dumb, lopsided grin and mumbles something stupid. The man clicks his tongue, warning the mute not to slack off. A finger jabs at the stable. Walk the horse. So-Sam bows low, grunting along like the perfect simpleton. The thug scowls, fed up with a brat who can't even talk. Then he leads the horse out through the bustling streets. The market hums along, vendors and shoppers minding their own. Behind the dull act, his eyes go cold, scanning everything. Then he clocks a shadow in a doorway, apart from the crowd. In the alley, a man kicks at cowering kids, snarling. A cry cuts the air, and So-Sam halts, head bowed. Shadow swallows his face, and something old wakes up inside. But it's just a pack of kids jeering at the dummy who can't talk. One of them sticks his face out, sneering the name again. The protagonist looms over them, face dark, pale eyes glinting down. A boy rubs his fists at his eyes, fate crying to mock him. He answers with a wide, hollow grin and walks the horse on. Then he strolls off through the crowd, leaving them puzzled. Back on clan grounds, So-Sam leads the horse while locals whisper. The mute one, they murmur, half pity and half scorn. He keeps his head down and works. In the armory, a clansman gripes that a man like him shouldn't be cleaning weapons. Then he grumbles that Guak Dong-oh has been missing for days. Maybe the bastard finally dropped dead somewhere, not knowing how right he is. Then he catches movement and his eye goes wide. Every rack is spotless, the blades polished to a shine. It hits him. The brat did all his work for him. So-Sam answers with a slow, hollow grin, broom in hand. The clansman marvels the kid came back fast and efficient. Has he finally become a decent human being? The man wonders. Grinning wider, the protagonist holds out a little pouch. The man opens it, asks what this is, then sees the gold. His eyes lock onto the coins. He bursts out laughing. The brat finally learned how the world works. Then he ruffles the kid's hair. That's my boy. Keep it up. The clansman pockets the bribe and strolls off, pleased. Left alone, So-Sam watches him go, eyes cold and red. The moron doesn't even realize he's paying for his own funeral. On his way out, the man waves the pouch, telling him to lift his head. A man boasts you have to stay flexible, jingling a fat coin pouch. Grinning ear to ear, he weighs it. Maybe Chosun tonight, not Aang. He tosses the purse toward a red lantern pleasure house and strolls in. The host bows low and lights up. Welcome, Lord Machil. Turns out the lecher flush with cash is the old overseer himself. Machil orders him to bring Chosun out, fast. The host hesitates, noting he usually calls for Aang. Wait, Chosun? The old man just grins and confirms it. He shoves the pouch forward, daring anyone to doubt his coin. The host folds instantly. Last room upstairs, Chosun on the way. Up in the room, the overseer waits alone with a bottle of wine. A voice at the door announces itself. A courtesan in pink steps in, introducing herself as Chosun. One look at her face and Machil knows she's a level above the rest. He clears his throat and pats the spot beside him. She kneels and offers to pour him a drink. Poor one, he laughs, having the time of his life. Then he leans in, complimenting her lovely hands. Come closer, he coaxes, never noticing the red eye through the wall. Pressed to the crack, blade in hand, the hunter has found his prey. Tight on a weathered old face, deep in the brothel's red glow. A pair of hands cups a little hoard of bronze coins. A fat clansman grins down at it. Money is money. Then a silhouette fills the doorway, and the doorman's welcome dies in his throat. He squints at the gaunt shape against the sunset and mutters a name. So-Sam. Leaning in, the doorman sneers, asking if the mute even knows where he is. "Get lost," he snarls, "before I make you." Then a coin pouch swings up into his face, and the threat just evaporates. So Sam holds it out with a few empty mute noises, the half-wit to the end. The doorman's grin spreads wide as his fingers close on the bag. Inside, the coins gleam, and his eye lights up. Suddenly, he's all bows. Second room down the hall. Eng will be right up. Dong Bong-soo climbs the steps into the Bongyang Inn, the greasy doorman fading behind him. A bandaged hand tightens around a blade at his side. Upstairs, a half-naked Machil flexes for himself. Still got it. Eyes shut, smug as ever, the old man preens with a razor in hand. Then his face jerks, something wrong prickling at the back of his neck. Too late. He chokes on a strangled gasp. A cord snaps tight across his throat from behind. Machil claws at it, gargling out a panicked, "Who in hell?" But this one's strong, thrashing hard, teeth bared against the noose. Then he heaves backward and flings the protagonist clean off his shoulders. The old overseer's face twists in terror as the hunter drops on him. A single red eye burns through the dark. Dong Bong-soo pins the old man flat and brings the blade in close. The protagonist grins down, both eyes glowing, savoring it. Gaunt and scarred, he leans over Machil while the elder screams. Two terrified eyes, then two red ones answering from the shadows. A hand clamps over the old man's mouth, cutting the noise short. The overseer stares up, frozen, going nowhere. Then he goes still, the body settling on the floor. Dong Bong-soo stands over the kill and looks it over. The red drains out, and the cold, blank face slides back on. He turns from the corpse, already thinking ahead. A glowing slit opens in the air, and a bandaged hand reaches for it. The system offers it. Store in inventory. Good thing he practiced with that inventory. It'll come in handy for the hunts ahead. A calm eye, a faint smirk, satisfied. An item window blinks open, just as he thought. His stats still read question marks, but the experience bar moved. So killing in this world hands out experience. Then experience builds, he levels up, and leveling up means stronger. Both eyes flare red as it all clicks into place. Hunting only gets easier, and stronger means faster prey. Wrapped hands clamp down, teeth bared in the dark. What a truly wonderful world. So Sam peers out through his own fingers, eyes cold and hungry. Slumped against the wall, the overseer's face has gone slack and dead. Down the hall, a clansman in red comes calling. A knock at the door. Anyone in there? The keeper hustles a courtesan along. Even a mute pays good coin. She slides the door open, apologizing for running late. The fat man lingers, something nagging at him. Are those two moving in together or what? He rubs his chin, suspicious now. The keeper raps for Machil and Chosun to hurry up and come out. Dead silence answers. Are these two seriously ignoring him? His patience snaps over this Machil. He pounds the door, demanding to know what's going on. Then the keeper's eyes go wide. He throws himself through the door. Two bare feet sway in the empty air. A heavy body hangs by the neck, head lolled. The keeper just freezes, staring at a perfect little suicide. We open on Anhui, where the Huai and Yangtze rivers carve a vast plain. For centuries, its lakes and crossroads made trade boom and the region rich. But where money piles up, thieves and cutthroats are never far behind. As bandits and villains ran wild, righteous clans rose to put them down. Among them stood the most prominent sects in the land. Two names tower over the rest, the Namgung clan and the Danri clan. Danri can't match Namgung, but it has its Crossheaven Sword division. That enforcer arm, the Black Crow Squad, is famed across Anhui for its information. Even the Beggar sect admits the squad runs better intelligence. But lately, that very squad is stuck on a case it can't crack. This is Gi Dae-hyo, leader of the Black Crow Squad, taking a report. Another suicide, he mutters. Nearly 100 dead in months. There are always a few, but never this many. Something is off. What gnaws at him most is how flawless every case looks. Every shred of evidence points to suicide. But is that even possible? The leader asks who died first. An armory artisan named Machil. The clan, he repeats sharply. You mean the Danri clan? Yes. So where did this Machil supposedly end his own life? At an inn, sir. The Phoenix Tavern. The subordinate balks. Surely the squad leader needn't go himself. No, I have to see it with my own eyes. The Phoenix Tavern sits in daylight, the hunt about to begin. At a closed door, a clanman asks if this is the room. The underling confirms it. He and Chosun found Machil hanging from these rafters. The investigator narrows his eyes, wondering if this suicide plague is murder. So how did a killer get in to finish Machil off? He crouches and combs the floor, the walls, every inch of it, every nook checked, and there's no way in without being seen. Then a hand presses the wall. The only possibility left is here. His gaze catches a thin crack between the logs. Pull these logs, he figures, and you'd have a clean passage in. But the problem is, none of these logs have ever been moved. He tips his head at the rafters, asking if the logs come out cleanly. No, the man tells him. They're set into grooves above and below. You can't pull one without taking the beams out first. His fist tightens. So, was it really a suicide after all? He turns, asking if anyone was next door when Machil died. Yes, another guest, the underling says, arriving right around the same time. The investigator's eye locks hard. Who was it? Sosam, the horse boy of the Danri clan. Meanwhile, the suspect himself leads a horse through the market, calm as ever. His system window floats up, every stat a row of question marks. The man he killed handed him more experience than any kill before. That one was a martial artist. Killing someone stronger pays out more. But fight a real martial artist now, and he loses, no question. He needs prey between a commoner and a martial artist, like that last kill. Right then, a voice booms. Well, well, little Sosam got handsome. 5 clan thugs block the path, the bare-chested leader demanding a greeting. They needle him for the silent treatment, one leaning in close. The leader grins, all gaps and teeth. No way Sam would ignore them. The protagonist sizes them up. Street thugs. The old Sosam was still clan, so a small hand catches the leader's wrist. The thug smirks down at the grip, and he wonders how the kid survived this. The leader leans in, asking if he's really being ignored. Then comes the threat. Time for a little private chat with Sam. Later in the stable, a horse rears and screams. He runs the math cold. Kill them all and stage another suicide? Stash the bodies in his inventory? Dump them far off? Doable, but killing this lot nets almost nothing, so he takes the beating for now. A fist comes down as the thug jeers that he's grown plump. Then a voice from the doorway cuts it short. Stop. A composed, bearded man in fine robes strolls in, asking why the rough handling. The thugs go stiff and stammer his name in fear. Jang-ho. A red eye glints in the dark. Jang-ho. The man strokes the horse beside him, murmuring what a fine animal it is. A hand pats the horse while the stranger talks up a society leader mad for them. That stranger is a bearded swordsman, planning to gift this very horse. He flashes a wide, friendly grin, but the protagonist feels the killing intent behind it, and the goal is clear. The man means to kill him and walk off with the horse. Problem is, he picked the wrong prey. The swordsman presses, warning that he doesn't ask twice. Sosam answers flat, then just kill me, why ask twice? That stops the man cold. Stunned, the mute slave can talk. A blue blade flashes out of nowhere. He pulls a knife, straight from his inventory. The blade sweeps in a clean arc. The grin breaks into pure shock. Bleeding now, the swordsman can only choke out one word. How? Then the knife buries deep, blood running down. The body drops in the stable as the horse rears. Blood sprays across the dark. Right then, chains erupt and lock onto something massive. A window blinks up. Murim online, level 1 to level 2. First kill cashed in. Red and purple energy explodes around him, his hidden power finally stirring. The others scream it. He's a demon. Everyone kill that demon. A man screams his lungs out. A bald thug scrambles back across a dim storeroom. He's already breaking down, begging. Blood smears the floor as the body slams back. The thug crashes down hard, clutching his side. This can't be happening. Is he dying here? Then the cold voice. You were just a loser, a money bag who giggled and paid up every beating. The bald man weeps into the dirt, mind racing. He only wanted easy coin, like always. A hand clamps the back of his skull, pins it down, to die at the hands of some plain-faced demon. The protagonist crouches over him, one corpse already cooling. Then the thug jolts awake, gasping, drenched in sweat. Sosam asks flatly if he's up. The man chokes out, demon. The survivor drops to all fours, forcing a grin. A blade slides into view beside his face. Who was the one that died first, acting tough? The thug stammers. Is this about Jang-ho? Knife at his throat, Sosam presses on. The name starts with Black. Terrified, he blurts it out. The Black Snake Society, one of the ebony syndicates ruling the back alleys of Bongyang. And Jang-ho, the man just killed, was an executive. The protagonist weighs the name. An executive, huh? Then he recalls Jang-ho mentioned a leader, too. Their boss, Bang Po-ryom, ordered the kill, ordered the horse taken. A boss. A hierarchy. Basically a gang. He grips the weeping man by the throat. Fine, talk, the red eye says. Useful information buys your life. The captive lights up. He can live, is that true? Then the hope drains. His face freezes mid-scream. A hand opens a glowing rift. The inventory. The bodies vanish inside. Is that everything cleaned up? The dark alley is empty now, the horse grazing ahead. He sinks to the ground, head bowed in the dark. But the night paid off. Several facts in hand. He'd been hunting prey between martial artists and ordinary folk, and he found it without trying. The syndicate is his ground now. He spreads both hands. The old scars are gone. Leveling healed everything, not just his hands. Every wound. A grin tugs at his face. This might even mend a wrecked brain. Right on the edge of a level, a little risk is worth it. He thinks back to the light that flooded the alley. That glow, he realizes, is the real downside. It practically screams, come and kill me. so he resolves to hide it no matter what. The best cover there is, just another face in the crowd. Only then, so Sam decides, can he become the perfect hunter. Level the instant a hunt ends, where only the prey can see. At dawn, he leads the horse out through the quiet alley. Sharper or stronger, and that fight could have gone badly. The mute fool act isn't enough to hide behind anymore. What he needs is to grow strong, fast, unseen. The way is simple. Kill more and kill stronger. Yeah, he muses. That was exactly the plan. Then a hand clamps onto his collar. Are you so, Sam? His eye snaps wide, the hunter suddenly very interested. A wild-eyed man leans in close. Did you kill Machel? A system window blinks up. A critical error has occurred. It says the Murim online system glitched, but the game can still run. Alone in the dark stable, the protagonist kneels before the glowing window, the horse watching. He studies it and figures the cause is probably him. The game and a man never meant to exist here run at once. That's the clash. So Sam thinks it over, hand at his chin. He sits cross-legged, the whole status sheet hovering above him. Strength, agility, attack power, the rest, with a fresh level 2 bar below. Then the red eye catches something. The stats that read as question marks are now filled in gauges. Maybe the error did this, or reality just can't be measured like a game. So Sam taps one of the menu tabs. A new list of skills unfolds in front of him. Slash, stab, block. All basic passives sitting at 0%. Then throw, and a stranger one called Spirit Eye. Standard starter skills every Murim online character gets, but one stands out. He leans in, eyeing that last icon. Spirit Eye, a technique never seen, with no description at all. Right then the window updates. Spirit Eye's conditions are met, casting on its own. A warning flashes, an enemy 10 levels above him within 20 meters, closing in. The count drops. 19, 18, while he stares at his own hand. It warns the enemy is at least 10 levels above him. The protagonist turns in the dark, the count still falling. Red eyes narrow as he weighs it. Probably not an enemy at all. Few would dare raid the Danry clan, and a real intruder wouldn't crawl this slow. Then footsteps close in, and so Sam figures it must be a clan expert. He doesn't know yet how much 10 levels really buys. But after the lives it costs to reach level 2, the gap has to be massive. How many ordinary men would it take to climb to 10? Thousands? Tens of thousands? The levels are worth exactly the difference in those lives. Among the clan's heavy hitters, he runs the list of who it could be. The door swings wide, light pouring in around a tall shape. In walks a grim old man, sharp-eyed, beard to his chest. Another figure behind him. The protagonist plays the part, eyes going wide. The old man looms over him, sizing the boy up. He asks flatly if this is so Sam. A heavy hand snaps out and grabs him. Then he demands it straight. Did you kill Machel? The grip clamps his throat and lifts. Blue energy crackles through the choke as one eye lights up under it. The hulking captain flares to life, blue lightning crawling over him. Then Gi Dae-hyo drives that crackling fist forward, and a face twists in a scream. His eye burns with a cold blue flame. A vortex of energy spins tight around his hand. It compresses down to a single, dense, dark core. Then the captain grips the small figure by the collar, energy snaking up his arm. The kid in his grasp just slurs a dazed, confused sound. The bearded man studies him a beat, then mutters under his breath. He lets go and tells his men to move out. A startled subordinate snaps to attention. Yes, Captain. Left in the shadows, the protagonist stands gaunt and still. Then, both his eyes ignite a slow, hungry red. On the way out, the subordinate presses him. Why drop it so fast? Gi Dae-hyo admits he was suspicious of the kid too. That's why he poured internal energy into the boy, checking for any trace of training. The capped man leans in, wide-eyed, asking how it went. He was empty, the captain says. Not a drop of energy, just an ordinary man. Gazing up at the night sky, he wonders if those people really killed themselves. A pale moon hangs over the clouds, and the worry lingers. How many more must die? That moonlit night, against all of Gi Dae-hyo's worries, the suicide plague simply vanished from Bongyang. But a new wind of slaughter was already blowing in. Down in the rain-soaked town, lanterns flicker over empty streets. Inside a tavern, a few patrons nurse their drinks by lamplight. One bearded drunk tips his cup back, liquor running down his chin. He leans into his friend. Hey, have you heard the story? The other man sips and nods. About the nameless swordsman, of course. Everyone has. The drunk grins wide. They should call him the Great Nameless Swordsman. He throws an arm up. The guy is out there butchering the Ebony Syndicate. His friend hisses at him to keep it down before someone hears, but the drunk only gets louder. White Tiger Unit and Red Wolf Sect wiped out. The other man glances around, finger to lips. One group is left, the Black Snake Society. The drunk waves it off. Their turn is coming. The swordsman will crush them too. While they laugh it up, a hooded figure in the corner has heard every word. Then the door opens. A cloaked man steps in from the rain, sword at his hip. Out in the downpour, that same figure stops before a frail beggar hunched against a wall. He moves on through the flooded alley. The old man left small behind him. Lightning splits the sky, and the nameless swordsman stands beneath it, finally home in the storm. Rain hammers a fortress gate marked with the black snake sigil, one lone guard on watch. The poor man sleeps on his feet, snoring into his spear. Then he jolts awake, eyes blown wide as something looms close. His partner snaps at him for nodding off on duty. "Get it together," the second guard barks. "The nameless swordsman is on a rampage. 3 rival sects already gone, and the black snake is the last one left." "So," the guard begins, dread creeping in. Mid-rant about the dozing, a blade opens his throat. His partner spins as the body drops, managing a baffled, "Huh?" He stammers that it cannot be, that this is the name. The sentence dies with the man, blood washing down the gate. There stands the swordsman, both guards at his feet, a head rolling down wet steps. One cold eye watches from behind the soaked face wrap. He plants both hands on the great gate and shoves it wide. Then he strolls alone into the empty courtyard, rain sheeting down. Bamboo hat, masked face, glowing eyes, the nameless swordsman in the flesh. A volley of arrows pours in, and the intruder flows through every one. His eye flicks to a new threat. A barbed chain lashes out of the dark. "Hey!" a voice calls across the yard. A whole army waits at the inner gate, bearded leader drawing his sword. "You nameless rat," the boss sneers. Then he breaks into a dead sprint, blade out, straight at the pack. In the pouring rain, the syndicate mob bays for his head. They charge him all at once, blades up. He drops into the center and starts spinning. A single red slash tears clean through the first. Crouched in the spray, Sosam is already moving on. A wide arc sweeps the blade, like clearing a whole army. The mob's faces twist, finally grasping how outmatched they are. He blurs forward, carving a red line through the rain. Then another sweep, and another body folds. The protagonist runs a man through. The rest curse and scream. One of them swears he will take the head himself. He coils low, twisting into the next strike. Then he spins, the blade trailing red energy. Another enemy goes down mid-scream. A single cut lances through 2 men at once. The survivors just gape, frozen. One stammers that this thing cannot be bound to die. 2 more close in, calling him a coward. Then one lunges from behind, sure of the kill. The protagonist just turns, that red eye cold and steady. He grabs the pair and cuts them down where they stand. Then the biggest brute charges, grinning, vowing to take the head. A burst of light and the kill is gone. The bodies vanish straight into the inventory. A bald brute drops in the rain, gurgling about a blade from behind. The protagonist watches from under his hat, masked, blade in hand. Then the killing blow lands, sparks and blood flying. He stands over the corpse as it splashes into the mud. A bearded thug raises a hand, grinning that he finally landed a hit. The boss says Sosam carved through his men like some monster. "But you bleed," the man taunts. "So you are only human after all." "A human they can kill," the thugs sneer, eyes glowing as they close in. A bloodied hand tightens on the blade, steady in the rain. He takes one slow step, dragging the weapon across wet ground. Then the grins falter, one of them muttering, "Something is wrong with this guy." The mask lifts and he is laughing, one eye burning red. Both eyes blaze white, the grin splitting his face wide. Later, rain hammers a dark Murim pavilion on the hill. A lone survivor huddles by a ruined shack, catching his breath. The screaming has died down. One man, he wonders, wiping out them all. They only ran rackets, trafficked a few, killed nobody but the worst. Plenty in this world are worse, so why come for the easy ones? He grits his teeth and decides to end it on the back path. The path leads straight to the leader's home, Paradise Manor. Out in the rain, a lone figure eyes the compound and snaps. "Fine, come get it." Inside, an old man crouches with hidden archers, sure the darkness gives them an edge. Through the downpour, the lone swordsman walks straight to the gate, alone. The old man throws out an arm and screams for them to fire. Bolts rip out of the dark in a hissing volley. Arrows pour down on the figure, peppering the ground around him. He peers from cover, masked archers behind, asking if the man is finally dead. Then a wet crunch behind them. The swordsman is inside, one archer crumpled in blood. Blood sprays across the dark as the archers come apart, while the elder watches frozen. When it ends, the old man stands alone in the spatter, every archer gone. Eyes wide and white, he backs off, managing only a shaky, "Hey." He bolts into the courtyard, slashing wild, refusing to believe his men are dead. Sword up, voice cracking, the elder asks if this is the nameless swordsman. Sosam stalks closer, bloodied blade low, as the man begs to know their crime. The blade hovers at his throat, and pure terror twists his face. Out of the shadow, the protagonist answers with one glowing red eye and a cold smile. He shrieks that no death god gave this man the right to judge them. The blade answers, one clean cut, blood fanning across the stones. Standing over the fallen man in the rain, Sosam says he wants only one thing, His eyes drift over the sprawled bodies, and he finishes it. Their lives. Lightning splits the sky over the wrecked compound. The syndicate scoured down to one name. Both eyes burning red in the rain, one last name remains on his list. Bang Po Ryom. Killing Jang Ho had bumped his level, he admits, but against the black faction, he was still weak. So the protagonist played it smart, luring them out, then picking them off one by one. Arson too, whatever it took to start the hunt. By the time the White Tiger leader caught on, it was too late. Over half his men were already corpses. Townsfolk gave him a new name, the Nameless Righteous Swordsman. With that mask on, gutting the unorthodox faction got easy. Killing the White Tiger leader pushed him to level 5. Then the system hands him his first active skill. 2, actually. Qinggong and the Three Forces sword art. Now he can finally face the black faction head-on. Out on the streets, kids play at being him. The Red Wolf Gate is wiped off the map. That leaves one faction in Bongyang, the Black Snake Society. A man in snake-marked robes watches the rain from the steps. This is their leader, Bang Po Ryom. Lightning splits the sky as the protagonist walks toward him. Rain runs down his face, calm as ever. Bang Po Ryom asks if he's the Nameless Righteous Swordsman. He says nothing. The old man sneers. A swordsman of justice, so why hide your face? Flat in the rain, he answers, because I'm not one. The snake leader presses. Then why hunt the unorthodox faction? He grins wide, both eyes glowing red. No righteous swordsman. Rain runs down the grim old face as it sinks in. Bang Po Ryom buries his face and laughs. The kid fooled everyone. He looms over the kneeling man, sword raised. They believed what they wanted. The old swordsman's hand creeps toward a fallen blade. Both hands close on the hilt, blue energy curling off the steel. Aura flaring, eyes glowing. Bang Po Ryom roars and dares him to come. Then the old man lunges through the rain, sword trailing blue. The protagonist stands calm as the red strike bears down. Blue against red, they close across the flooded courtyard. Everything stills, a raindrop frozen between their blades. Then they collide, blood spraying, and he grins through the red. Bang Po Ryom's eye blazes gold as he throws everything into the cut. Steel meets steel, sparks bursting between them. Their blades lock midair, the shock blowing both back. They trade strikes, the protagonist driving a red-streaked slash through the rain. Their swords slam, and the old man's eyes go wide at the force. Then his gaze sharpens, locking onto a gap in the guard. Bang Po Ryom commits, swinging his glowing blade down to take it. But the kid just reads it, dead calm, too short. A blade rips across his face, blood spraying, red eye still locked. The old swordsman swings in, sword cleaving the spray. The protagonist skids across the stone, smearing a long streak of blood. He crouches, blade in hand, back torn open, grinning through it. Bang Po Ryom taunts him. Just as he thought, the body's spent. Then the old man lunges, energy crackling blue along the edge. Both blades slam together in a burst of light. He unleashes a wide arc of blue energy. The slash tears the air, blade flaring white. Mid-fight, the protagonist clocks it. The man only hits his wounds. Another cut lands, and he admits at this rate he loses. Blood and steel blur as the exchange keeps coming. So Sam decides he'll trade flesh if that's what it takes. Bang Po Ryom snarls, demanding what pulls his mind from the fight. Then the old man calls his technique, the Three Forces sword art. Yellow eyes split into a grin. Got you. But the protagonist clamps onto the blade and drags him in close. A red eye narrows through the blood. A whip sword. He reaches out and a chained blade snaps loose in his grip. The whip sword lashes between them, coiling toward Bang Po Ryom. The old man admits it worked, his first time facing a whip. Dong Bong-soo lowers his bloodied face, far from done. Slit yellow eyes lock on, cold and predatory. A dark shape coils through the rain, more beast than man. Then a window blinks up. Qinggong. He kicks off in a burst of blue, almost weightless. The wall cracks where he lands, dust blasting out. Rain hammers the courtyard as the swordsman surveys the compound. Two syndicate men stare back, faces white with terror. One red eye burns through the downpour. The Black Snake Society rises, scales glowing blue. He stands before it, sword drawn, the serpent looming behind. Bang Po Ryom calls it peculiar. He baits with his own body. That is no martial artist's way, the old man says. It is a hunter's. Rain runs down his face, calm and faintly amused. Then he grins wide and asks, "Did you know? In a duel to the death, the more you hide, the better." He had more hidden, his enemy had less. A fatal flaw. The protagonist levels his sword, cold and steady in the rain. Then he closes in. No moves left for you. Sword low, he drops into his stance, ready to strike. Yellow eye flaring, Bang Po Ryom tells him to die now. The snake leader recoils, screaming back, "Nameless murderous demon!" And the blade comes down, his shadow swallowing the rain. A dark shape spins through the rain, one red eye burning in the black. A blue sword dragon coils through the dust, and the man scoffs at the cheap trick. That snarling thing is Bang Po Ryom, eyes wild, certain he has won. His blue serpent of energy uncoils and tears across the air. The blade dragon rips through dust and debris. He lunges with a grin, sure he has cornered the swordsman hunting his people. Then the confidence cracks, and his eye goes still. The shape he ran through was no swordsman, only one of his own men. A decoy, and only now does the Snake Master see where the real one is. High on the rain-slick bridge, Dong Bong-soo looms over him, sword in hand. He drives down the three forces sword art, second form. The strike has a name, the core striking slash. The blade falls in one clean line, and blood sprays below. Up close, that red eye watches, cold and unbothered. The cut opens his chest wide, blood pouring down. The yellow-eyed master throws his head back and screams. The protagonist clocks it, a bare hand thrown up to save the heart. Refusing to drop, the foe roars that it isn't over. Across the bridge, the whip sword snaps out in a long arc. The chained blade punches clean through him, and the killer never blinks. The long-haired master bears down again, eyes blazing, swearing his quarry won't slip. But So Sam reaches into thin air and opens his inventory mid-swing. A corpse drops out to eat the strike, and his enemy's eyes go wide. Then the whip sword lashes out in a blinding spiral. It coils through the rain, all blue light and edges. The long-haired man hunches over, ragged, bodies strewn behind him. He sees corpses keep blocking his blade and wonders what else hides in that sleeve. Rain hammers the courtyard. The manor gates dim behind a field of dead men. A wail tears across the wreckage of his men. He drops into a crouch, snarling, hunting the rat who vanished on him. Using corpses in a duel, he spits. What kind of lunatic does that? A blade streaks in fast, a silver line through the dark. Bang Poriom barely catches it, energy bursting off the parry. Stop with the dirty tricks, he snaps, face twisting. He grits his teeth and pours everything into one glowing eye. Then his own whip sword whips out in a wide arc. Blood on his face, the fury curdles into something colder. Right then, a red eye flares, a beast rising at the killer's back. And it finally lands on him. Am I the prey? Bang Poriom. A figure tears through the rain, fast and low. Then the wild-eyed master lunges, snarling that he's found him. He closes the gap through the downpour. Then his eyes catch the scarred face, and the word dies on his lips. The blade opens him up, blood spraying across the rain. But the thing only shrieks louder, gaunt and hollow in scaled armor. A second slash carves clean through the chest. Yet the old master stays on his feet, scaled armor split wide. One more pass folds him backward, his sword slipping from his hand. Blood pours down through his clutching fingers. Coughing red, the master spits a curse. Every black snake man in Bongyang is dead. On his knees under that shadow, he begs to know why. Dead calm, the protagonist asks if he even needs a reason. One red eye glows in the dark. Humans have always killed humans. Back when they still looked like apes, they were clubbing each other with bones, and they never stopped, not even after building whole cities. Eyes burning in the rain, he asks if this place is any different. The strong trample the weak, he says, and this time, he is the strong one. A single cold eye holds steady in the rain. A blood moon hangs behind the storm clouds. Far below, a lone pavilion glows in the rain. Then a pillar of light tears straight up into the sky. A cloaked figure walks the rain-slick path, sword low. Dong Bong-soo flicks the blood off his blade. Cape snapping, he stands over the carnage, dead calm. Every black snake man in Bongyang is gone, so his preparations are complete. The bigger the arena, the stronger the prey, the harder the hunt. Both eyes blaze red as he grins. Time for the wider Murim. Lightning splits the peaks of the mountains ahead. Far from the manor, a grand hall stands lined with kneeling figures. On the throne sits a shadow no one can make out. A voice from the dark asks how long until the Orthodox demonic war. From the aisle comes the answer. 2 years remain. 2 years, the throne lord muses. Time to set the grand plan in motion. A single name rings out in the black. Glongwoon. The man drops into a deep bow. Yes, lord. Then the order comes down, cold and final. Begin the first stratagem. And so it begins, as the kneeling man answers, as you command. A busy market street, another day in the Murim. Leading a horse through it is the protagonist, still playing the lowly stable boy. As he passes a tavern, a man leans toward his friends. Heard the news? The nameless swordsman wiped out the Black Snake Society, and Bongyang is buzzing. One of them grins, arms wide. Maybe they should call him the Nameless Righteous Swordsman. But the man with folded arms isn't sure, and the others ask why. Hero or not, he mutters, is it really fine to kill the way he does? The first man snaps at him to watch his mouth. He works himself up. Chewing those scum alive wouldn't be enough. They all deserved it. The skeptic keeps his arms crossed and won't let it go. Another raises a cup. Neither the officials nor the orthodox sects ever cared about commoners. In the end, the nameless swordsman was the only one who stepped up for them. The doubter just chews his toothpick, still not buying it. Then his face twists and he doubles over the table. Finally, he gives in. True, without that swordsman, who else would ever stand up? The first man springs up, fist raised, cheering, "Long live the nameless swordsman." Soon the whole crowd is on its feet, roaring it serves those bastards right. The street erupts for him, while the man himself shuffles past with his horse, head down. Behind that blank stare, Dong Bong-soo decides it's about time he left for good. Night falls over a grand pagoda complex, lit windows glowing under a full moon. He walks the horse back toward the stables, his next move already settled. Then Spirit Eye flares. Someone 10 levels above him just stepped within 20 meters, and the warning points him straight at the stable. Right then, a figure walks in through the open doors, leading a horse. Elsewhere, two robed strangers face each other in a dim hall. One is Gi Dae-hyo, captain of the Black Crow Squad, the clan investigator. Beside him stands a towering old man in red robes, hair pinned with wood. This is the head of the Danri clan, the flying heavenly demon sword. His name is Danri Chonwoo, and the protagonist now shares a room with his owner. He drops flat into a bow, the meek slave, wondering why the clan head came. The old man strokes the horse, murmuring it is time to say goodbye to it too. Down on the floor, his eyes flare red. That one word woke the predator. A faint pulse of energy ripples out from the old master. On the next full moon, he says, the Namgung head's second daughter is to wed. Gi Dae-hyo asks if his lord is really sending the prized horse as a gift. The lord nods, dreaming aloud of marrying one of his own children into Namgung. To win their favor, he adds coldly, he would gladly give far more than a horse. A marriage pledge then, the captain wonders, and the lord cuts in, one of his children. His hand rests on the horse. Two logs cross a stream easier than one. Gi Dae-hyo warns the Namgung may want neither child, and the lord only laughs. The order comes flat and final. Make it happen, no matter what. The captain stiffens under the weight, the lord pressing the request home. In the dim hall, the patriarch tells a bearded warrior to set out at first light. Then he points at the kneeling figure. Take that one too, to mind the horse. Yes, patriarch, the bearded man answers with a bow. The one on the floor is the protagonist, half bowed, playing the meek stable slave. The warrior just studies him, hard-faced, saying nothing. Next morning, the clan grounds fill with rows of armed men in a waiting cart. So-sam waits by the horse while two grinning servants size up the newcomer. Behind that blank face, a colder question turns. How do you learn real martial arts? He'd tried aping the moves of the clan's warriors and the Black Crow leaders, but it came out as imitation, nothing more. The worst way, he figures, is bleeding technique off a secret manual. The best is to learn straight from a master. Trouble is, nobody takes on a disciple overnight. 18 already in this body, and starting that late is its own wall. Still, his cold eyes narrow. This trip suits him just fine. The Namgung clan, one of the 5 great families, absolute power in Anhui. A faint smile creeps in. In there lies a road to strength and stronger prey. The whole Black Crow unit has assembled, banners up, a rider out front. So-sam falls in at the rear while the other handlers eye him sourly. Good, the horse is out, the bearded leader notes, then asks who's still missing. Only the young master and lady. Ganghae is off drinking. Danri Hui will catch up. Then a rider kicks his horse forward, barking at the clan to move out. Behind him, a whole column rolls out, banners up, a supply cart in tow. At the next courtyard, he throws up a hand and calls the halt. The riders skid to a stop before the gate. The bearded officer up front just drags a palm down his face. Not again. That headache has a name. Danri Ganghae, eldest son of the clan head, a born prodigy. Skill-wise, he could enter Namgung as an outer disciple, but the problem isn't his sword. It's the man holding it, a frivolous drunk who chases women, so the bad rumors never stop. Townsfolk click their tongues. Beating someone again. What a scoundrel. A close-up catches the officer's eyes going wide. Then someone screams it. Young Master Danri, slammed clean into a wall. Out in the column, the protagonist is leading a horse when Spirit Eye pings. The window spells it out. An enemy 10 or more levels above, within 20 meters. Buried in the rubble, Ganghae jabs a finger and snarls at his attacker. He starts to promise a kill and gets cut off mid-word. The officer just screams, white-eyed, ranks of men frozen behind him. So-sam turns, that cold red flicker waking in his eye. A master, he notes, the wrecked prodigy mirrored in his pupil, and a real one. A bald, white-maned figure rises over the rubble, green lightning crackling off his fists. Out of the rubble rises a master, green energy crackling off him. His face twists, green power surging off his skin. Then, a robed old man rushes across the courtyard, barking at him to stop. The elder demands to know who this green-eyed stranger is. Green aura erupts skyward as the clan fighters square off against him. Gi Dae-hyo, captain of the Danri Black Crow unit, names himself, and the man crushed against the wall is the Danri heir himself. An old swordsman steps up, hand on his hilt. Remove your foot, or else. Behind him, the guards bristle, weapons up, while the stable boy watches from the horse. Up front, the protagonist stares dead flat, noting the captain has no idea who attacked. He works it out fast. A stranger this strong has to be an outsider from Murim. His red eye glints cold as he calls it. This crew can never take him down. Then, the attacker's green eye narrows, catching on something. But the protagonist decides otherwise. They are not going to die here. His logic is simple. No lion pounces full force to squash an ant. Bored, the old master picks his ear and asks what a danri even is. He flicks the wax off and mocks them, wondering aloud if a danri is food. Ki Dae-hyo snaps, furious, demanding how he dares insult the name. The poison master only smiles, drawling he honestly cannot say whether a danri is edible. Then his grin turns vicious, or maybe just something to step on. That sets the swordsman off, blade flashing as he closes in. Sword raised, the captain roars the order. Every black crow, save the young master. The whole unit surges forward, charging the lone master. He just raises one open hand toward the oncoming wave, ready for all of them. A hand wreathed in green poison reaches from the sky. Then the energy detonates in a blinding burst. A green blast streaks toward the escort. The attacker is a bearded swordsman, green-faced. It tears through the guards. One screams as poison eats him alive. Smoke curls off another's head, and he barely chokes out a horrified "what?" When it clears, the whole escort lies scattered in the green mist. A fallen guard, half his face rotted green, gasps it can't be him. The old man chuckles. For a country laborer, his eyes haven't rotted yet. This is the soul-chasing poison hand, Tang Wu. They say Murim has 20 true monsters, the 2 gods at the top. Below them, the 3 monsters, then the 5 pinnacles, and the 10 greats. Tang Wu is supreme master of the Sichuan Tang clan, one of those 10. Offend him, and even your spirit can't escape his poison after death. One of the top 20 masters of the entire Murim. Amid the carnage, the protagonist stands holding the horse. The Danri clan's matchmaking trip has just blown up into a massacre. Cross a man of Tang Wu's standing, and the clan might be forced shut. So-sam watches the green pillar rise, wondering how this ends. Then a young woman in a wide hat strolls up, calling him grandpa. She waves it off. Just leave it. They're country folk who don't know better. The poison master's scowl melts into a grin, and he laughs warmly. Shall we then? In the rubble, the old man figures the brat has learned how vast the world is. Then he hauls the drunk heir up by the top knot, sneering down at him. He won't truly hurt a faction child, so he settles for a warning about chasing women. A woman in a black hat stands by, arms crossed. He asks the heir. Understood. The kid, pinned and terrified, can only thank the old man, calling him Senior Tang. Tang Wu clicks his tongue and lifts 2 glowing fingers, pulling his power back. The whole convoy lies flat, green energy still lashing the air. Then the master springs off, green wind trailing behind. He calls back to the woman, "Hua, let's go," but the words die halfway. His green eye locks onto something across the yard, sharp. Past the cowering grooms, one figure stays on his feet, holding a horse. The protagonist just stands there, scarf loose, reins in hand, calm as anything. Their eyes meet, dark stare against swirling green. Tang Wu tells Hua to wait, and she only manages a confused grandpa. He strides the line as every groom drops to the ground. Alarm bells go off inside the protagonist. He's coming toward me. His eyes burn red in the dark, and one thought lands cold. Why? The gaunt master stops right in front of the stable hand, the 2 locked face to face. Hua asks what's wrong. He waves it off. Just a question for the boy. Something to ask. He wonders why a master like this has business with a nobody. Then the poison master asks it flat. What is your name? The protagonist says nothing, holding his mute mask, the silence stretching. Tang Wu's eyes flare green, and he asks again, "Say your name." A green spiral burns in the old man's eye, fixed on something. "This brat," he mutters, his glare locking in. A bearded officer waves him off. "That one is just a horse handler, and mute." "Mute," Tang Wu repeats, leaning in to study the kid. The golden gaze narrows, picking the protagonist apart, and it lands on him. The elder is sizing him up right now. Crouched in the dirt, So-sam reads it cold. He's eyeing me like treasure. The old man, weighing him like a prize. Their eyes lock, and he sees it. An opportunity. The predator stirs behind his face. A chance to finally shed the horse handler shell. Green energy crackles around the elder's fist. A hand snaps out and seizes the boy. He roars, aura streaming off him. Then he asks the officer if they ride for the Namgung clan. Yes, for a marriage alliance, and the kid just manages the gifted horse. The old man grins. Then I'll take him. The officer panics. Without the boy, no one controls the horse. Tang-woo only hums. They need the horse delivered, nothing more. After it arrives, he says, the child is mine. He'll square it with Namgung himself. Even send a letter and payment. The officer stammers, cornered, while a green ring glows hungry in the dark.
The escort admits the boy was bound for Namgung anyway, then begs him to take him. Tang-woo, the white-haired Tang elder, roars with delight. He grins and barks at the boy to hurry up and follow. The bearded escort grips his own head and lets out a long, broken sigh. Right then, Gi-dae-hyo sends the young master to a physician, and the unit moves out. The protagonist watches it all, flat and dead-eyed, gripping the reins. Night falls over the towering, lantern-lit Namgung Manor. Gi-dae-hyo raises a hand. They hold here for the night. Inside, the squad eats and drinks at lamplit tables. He sits alone in the dark stable, the horse at his back. Ever since the Black Snake fight, his inventory has sharpened. For now, it reaches about a meter, but practice might stretch that. He can pull stored swords or corpses out, or fire them at someone. The launch runs slow, though, slow enough for a real master to react. He opens a palm and lets fine sand stream from his fingers. Inventory, he whispers, the red eye flaring. A glowing blue rift cracks open between his hands. He clenches a softly burning fist, a thin, cold smile on his lips. The hand lifts, and he studies the power gathering in it. Quite good at this too now. Then the grin spreads. There is one more way. He weighs the angle. The inventory is always a fallback. His fingers curl, energy pooling around the grip. Anything that enters his own body, he can shunt straight to storage. He even names it, the Inventory Divine Art. Back in the dim stable, he sits with that fist quietly clenched. Then footsteps, and a voice grumbling at the old man to give it a rest. A sharp woman in green, arms crossed, has no idea why he's wanted at this hour. Still, she tilts her head and tells him to follow. So-sam looks up at her, flat and unbothered. She leads him into a warm hall where clanmen sit drinking. At a tall door, she stops and calls that she's coming in. The door opens on a grand chamber. A golden dragon sprawled across the wall. The fur-clad master at the head tells him to climb the platform and sit cross-legged. His eyes narrow, reading the room before he moves. Tang-woo waits on a mat across the room, the woman kneeling behind him. He climbs up and folds cross-legged against the dragon wall. The yellow eye fixes on him, and the elder gives one blunt order: strip. Without a word, he pulls the robe down off his shoulders. The old master grunts a satisfied good as the boy settles, half-bared. Grinning through his beard, the elder notes the kid's frame isn't half bad. Then he produces an ornate case and names its prize, the Dragon Phoenix Golden Needles. The granddaughter panics, begging him to stop, terrified of what comes next. The old man sets a wooden case down hard on the floor. Then he asks the protagonist if he knows the old saying, Gyul wa Ouija. An orange from the south turns bitter and small when planted in the north. The protagonist listens, that red eye locked on him. Soil makes the fruit, the elder says. South is the Danri clan, north is the Tang, and if the orange is So-sam, the bitter fruit becomes something else. From now on, he says, he means to put the kid through a great ritual. It will hurt worse than dying. Survive it, and real power comes. Muteness cured. The golden eyes bore in. Will he do it? The protagonist just stares back, taking the offer in. The granddaughter chokes out a frightened cry for him to wait. She protests he can't decide something this grave without the elders. Tang-woo turns on her, one eye glowing in the dark. She freezes, lost for words, while the grin splits wide. He throws his head back and laughs, and it clicks for the protagonist. So that's what this is. Then the old man presses. Child, he asks, are you ready to take the Tang surname? The protagonist holds his gaze, both eyes burning cold, weighing it. Between them sits the dragon-carved case, two long needles waiting beside it. In the Murim, rare talent goes by many names. Heavenly meridian bodies, sacred bones, gifts no training can buy. They surface once a century, maybe once 1,000 years. Born with one, and your name enters the histories. But the greatest aptitude of all is something else. The old man calls it a freebie he simply stumbled into. A talent like this surfaces once in 1,000 years, the elder thinks. This scrawny brat carries a body unseen in all Murim history, a body with no meridians at all. At first, Tang-woo took it for an ordinary, untrained frame, but the boy lacks the acupoints and pathways every human has. Inside him, there is nothing. No energy, no channels, as if he were not human. No path means whatever you carve in becomes the path. Raised right, this body could become anything. It could even restore the 10,000 flower reign, lost for centuries. Then all Murim would bow to the Tang name. The clan's whole future, the old man grins, sits in his hands. So he lifts the golden needle and asks again, does the boy mean to take the Tang surname? Red eye cold, the protagonist gives one nod.
Tang Wu grins, raising the needle, saying he is not yet a Tang. He must face the elders in the family head and could die earning it. The poison master leans close. Will he still go through with it? Both eyes burning, the protagonist answers dead calm. A wide, hungry grin splits across Tang Wu's face. Green poison aura flares as he announces the Great Reformation ritual. Then he tells his granddaughter, Hua Ya, to stand guard outside. She walks to the doorway, back turned, poison motes drifting past. He sits cross-legged before the dragon mural. The old man rises behind. Glowing needles hover in a ring around his bare back. Eye lit green, the elder says he shall begin. His fingers lower a single needle toward the crown of the boy's skull. It sinks in, green light flaring, red eyes peering up. The needle stands buried in his scalp, energy spiraling off. They had thought him deaf to their sound transmission talk earlier, but he had read their lips clean across the room. His pupil sharpens, the secret already his. Funny, the prey hunting trick from his old life pays off here. A grin splits the dark, red eyes glinting at the thought. His private status window hangs there, skills and stats glowing. The system and that window, he reminds himself, only he can see. That left him a body neither human nor character. Tong Wu cannot know this, so the old man lands on an absurd theory. The poison elder lifts a hand, green light dripping from his fingers. Needles bristle across Sosam's bare back, and the ritual ignites. Even on these false acupoints, the chi and blood flow clean. In fact, his chi runs several times faster than a normal artist's. A tear slides down the elder's yellow eye. Truly a talent of ages. However, he glances at a tray of dried, blackened insects. One dead centipede curls among the husks. Glowing eyes narrow through the smoke, so he must be careful. The elder lifts a single goo on a needle. No one steals this prize. He slides the parasite into the boy's ear as insurance. If he cannot have it, the old man decides, no one will. The poison master keeps driving needles, green energy crackling along each. The body bristles with golden pins, every tip burning green. Inside the elder's dim chamber, Tang Wu settles by the tea table, the work done. He stands over the boy and declares the ritual over. From now on, he says, this is no Danri stablehand, but a Tang. The naked protagonist kneels across the floor, head bowed. Then the old man gives him a name, Tang Sam. Half in shadow, the new clansman lifts his face. A single word leaves the mute boy's mouth. Yes. Nearby, the granddaughter keeps her eyes down, uneasy. She lingers at the door as Tang Sam steps out. He passes her without a glance, draped now in Tang green. Out across the grounds, the sun bleeds low over the tiled roofs. He stares off at the burning sky. Then a centipede coils in his palm, ringed in glowing runes. Blood on his robes, he answers a strike with a fist of venom. The mute So-Sam of the Danri family is now someone else. He whips around grinning, blood arcing through the air. Tang Sam of the Sichuan Tang family. He soars into the blazing sun, arms wide, calling it his new wings. A grand sect fortress climbs the cliffs under a heavy moon. Inside, a body gasps, gripped tight. A hand claws at the floorboards, fighting to hold on. Tears streak a girl's face as she strains to watch. Above her looms a cloaked figure, eyes glowing, sword raised. She looks up, breath catching. That is... Two faces lock close, the moment razor tight. The blade rips down. Blood sprays across the hall. A silver-haired man stares at the carnage. He hides his face, refusing to believe it. What stings him most is the blood ruining his western silk. He demands to know if anyone grasps the price of that robe. Shaking with rage, the master asks who the intruder is. The masked attacker only stares back, one eye burning white. Then the assassin dashes in, sword trailing dark energy. A blinding flash erupts as the two strikes meet. The silver demon answers with a glowing palm. He catches the bare blade in his hand like nothing. Then comes a massive purple blast, point blank. Through the pink haze, the intruder's face only smiles. The new body looks half dead, eyes sunken and hollow. That grin widens. Someone breathes out a stunned, "What?" His eyes flare violet. He flatly calls the old man weak. Then the protagonist moves, purple energy roaring, a blade screaming across the room. A massive crescent of light tears through the hall. The elder twists clear, snarling, "Not so fast." Both forces slam together in a burst of pink lightning. A dark shape lands hard, energy lashing around it. So-Sam rises, one eye blazing white in the gloom. The old man's gaze narrows. Do not tell me that is... Violet spikes erupt as the realization lands. His jaw drops, pure awe taking over. Then the elder throws his head back, laughing like a madman. Robe slipping off his shoulder, he rasps it out. This is Mad Cloud. Long ago, a silver-haired figure smirked, So the 18th cloud comes in person. Back then, orders had come down for the one called Ash Shadow, and the order was simple, the first stratagem. Now, in the present, Tang Wu's hand trembles against the table. Elsewhere, a wild-eyed master grins. It is finally happening. What of Shifting Shadow? A bearded officer answers flatly. The Namgung clan. The 15th is the wedding day. Wedding? The pale-haired one leans in, suddenly very interested. Then it clicks. His grin splits wide. Do not tell me Shifting Shadow is... He lets the thought hang, teeth bared, and asks the scope. Eyes half closed, the master savors it. A scarred hand drags across the armrest. The order comes cold. Kill everyone but Shifting Shadow and Namgung Hae. But the poison hand nears Anhui, and the forces here are too few. Then, a hulking Shadow Lord decides it. 5 shadows will go. The officer raises a brow. Really now? That should be enough, the master purrs. The grin pure menace. Orders delivered, the bearded man turns to leave. He pauses at the door. One more thing. Again, he asks what Shifting Shadow's name was. The officer stops, a single sharp eye in the dark. The name lands like a thrown blade. The master drops back, hand over his face, laughing as ever. A bloodied figure leans in a doorway, purring how jealous he is. He thought shadows lived alone, yet his rival became an orthodox hero. That rival even won the first beauty of Anhui as a bride. And here the demon rots in this gloomy place, teeth bared. He drifts to the doorway, staring out at the moon. Then he steps into the dark hall, blood still on his robe. Over his shoulder, the master orders the room cleaned. The filth on the bed, too. And one more thing. Kill every guard who stood watch today, he says flatly. An old servant bows deep and answers yes, no questions. The silver demon looks down over a sprawling, lamplit town. This is the heavenly demon cult, the Anhui branch. Its branch leader, the naked silver demon, Paga Hyul. A wide grin splits his face. Now it really begins. Elsewhere, an army marches under banners through the moonlit night. At the head, the poison elder reins his horse. Whoa, whoa! He notes they arrived sooner than expected, granddaughter and Sosam at his side. Below them sprawls the moonlit city the Namgung clan rules as masters. Red lanterns string across Namgung City, a grand wedding banquet taking shape. At the gates, starving beggars kneel and plead for a lump of rice. A clan guard looms over them, snarling. Get lost, he barks, asking if they even know where they are. Then his boot lashes out. One beggar sprawls flat as another cries out for his brother. A calm voice cuts in, asking what the commotion is. Out steps a young swordsman in Namgung blue, ponytail, blade at the hip. The guard freezes and stammers. Just beggars, young master. Onlookers murmur that this is Do Heo-ok, the star of the banquet. He walks straight up to the cowering man. Crouching down, the groom offers a beggar his hand, asking if he is all right. Share food with them, he orders, since there are leftovers before the wedding. The guard chokes out a yes, and the young master heads inside. The crowd gushes that no wonder the Namgung daughter fell for him. Word is this wanderer once cut down 2 demons who terrorized the Jianghu. One man leans in. He carries the arts of the Thunderblade Emperor. Mid-boast, he bumps someone, snaps watch it, then trails off. Looming over him stands a purple-wreathed old man, and he gasps a name. A hand clamps his mouth before it can carry, his eyes blowing wide. The silver demon snaps at someone to move out of his way. He shoves through the crowded street, grumbling that everyone is useless. On a grand plaza, a brown-haired youth in blue robes grins at an old elder. The old man's face twists and he roars for silence. Unbothered, the swordsman asks if he has wandered somewhere he doesn't belong. The elder bares his teeth, daring him to speak to his face. Calm down, someone begs, calling him Sir Tang, the old poison master. The young man bows with a clasped salute and gives his name, Do Heo-ok. Tang Wu sizes him up. So this is the boy who dragged him out here. His yellow eye narrows. Impressive, the old man admits, but only so far. Meeting sooner would have been better, the elder says, since today he disappoints. Brushing past, Tang Wu asks if Biok is inside. A guard says the clan head waits. Do Hyo-ok scrambles after him, offering to guide the great elder to the king's hall. From behind, the protagonist watches the pair stride toward the hall. His face is blank, eyes wide and empty, taking it all in. The spirit eye flares, a foe 10 levels above him, within 20 meters. Dong Bong-soo stands calm in his green tang robes, the warning hovering close. He notes the careful distance the old man keeps, steady, never stopping. Then it clicks. The threat his eye flagged must be Do Hyo-ok himself. His eyes flush red, the hunter waking at the scent of stronger prey. Every human body leans a little crooked, one side off from the other. But this one moves down the hall flawless, perfectly even, too perfect. The red eyes give nothing away. Hunched in the dark, another monster watches and sees through it. A predator wearing someone else's skin, the same breed as itself. High above the grounds rises the Namgung clan's grand hall. Old swords stand planted across the rooftop, the courtyard far below. Eyeing the blades, Tangwoo notes they belonged to past clan heads. He scoffs at men who call themselves kings. Graves swallow them anyway. An escort asks them to wait at the steps, but the elder cuts in. Already kept waiting, the old man simply climbs. Then he marches straight into the inner hall. A voice rings across the chamber. "Uncle." The white-bearded Namgung head bows low, welcoming him after so long. Tangwoo jabs back at a clan head scrambling around without dignity. Then both old men crack up, agreeing neither has changed a bit. Watching from behind, Hwaya wonders when those two got so close. Footsteps cross toward the protagonist, then a startled gasp. A bright young Namgung lady lights up. "It has been a while, Hwa." Inside the halls, two noble girls trade compliments, the bride prettier than ever. Do Hyo-ok introduces himself, and Hwaya asks if she can call him brother-in-law.
The bride flushes red, flustered by the bold little guest. The groom laughs it off, while Hwa teases that shy sister Hei marries first. Hand to her face, the bride can only sigh at the cheeky girl. Then her golden eye locks onto something across the hall. She turns and asks who that person over there is. Across the hall stands a lone figure in shadow, backlit and apart. It's our protagonist in tang green, and Hwa starts to explain. He steps forward in gold-trimmed robes, eyes closed, naming himself Tang Sam. Heavy footsteps draw near. The bride freezes wide-eyed while Hwa scowls. Do Hyo-ok grins and offers a hand, glad to finally meet him. The protagonist just stares back at the open palm, flat and dead-eyed. Then a polite smile slides on, and he takes the hand like any guest. Something clicks for the groom, and he perks up. Ah, right. He was planning a moonlit boat outing on Soho Lake with Hei tonight. Then he invites the two of them along, while Hwa and the protagonist stare back unmoved. A wide, easy grin spreads across the groom's face. Of course they should come. Come too, he tells our man, and a thin, knowing grin curls at the killer's mouth. Lanterns burn across the water, and a hushed voice marvels how beautiful it is. Up on deck, women in fine silk watch the glowing city drift past. A young host grins that Soho Lake is famous for views like this. A hand lifts toward the full moon over the lantern-strewn water. She tells Sister Hwaya the moon on the water is stunning. The cheerful host suggests the men share a drink while the ladies talk. He offers to fetch good wine and strolls off across the deck. That host is Do Hyo-ok, the man about to marry into Namgung. But the protagonist watches him go and reads a predator in disguise. Someone of that caliber, he figures, could be plotting something serious. The question gnaws. When and why? Quietly, he's been dragged into a far bigger scheme. Then a system window flares. An enemy 10 levels above, within 20 meters. His head snaps around, the red eye sharpening. The deck sits empty and silent, the threat nowhere in sight. Both eyes burn now. This presence is not Do Hyo-ok. He clocks the vessel fast, 25 meters long, about 5 high. So the enemy waits below, somewhere on the lower deck. Right then, Do Hyo-ok ambles back, apologizing the wine was tucked away. A new predator, separate from the groom, has stepped aboard this boat. A lone pleasure boat glides under the moon, lotus lanterns trailing. The host raises the bottle. Strong, precious gumaju, poured just for Tang Sam. Night settles, the protagonist facing his ponytailed escort across the deck. He smiles and asks to step away, his stomach acting up. The other man waves it off. Ask the boatman where to go. But as the kid leaves, that sidelong stare lingers, sharp and suspicious. Through a doorway, he slips into the dark hold below. Right then, the spirit eye fires. Enemy, 10 levels above, 20 meters out, counting down. He clocks it. The distance to the new threat had just stretched away. Then it starts closing again. A second window blares the same warning. 6, 5, 4. Now in the gloom, his red eye glows. That makes 2. A third window counts down as a shadow spills across the floor. Then a fourth pings in, his silhouette stretched on the moonlit boards. Out on deck stands Do Hyo-ok, the escort. That makes 5. Both eyes burning, he confirms it. 5 enemies aboard, all far above his level. At the rail, the protagonist stares over the lantern-dotted river. If they wanted only Namgung Hei, he figures, they'd have grabbed her already, since that's not the case. So the real target is the Namgung clan itself. His hand tightens on the wooden rail. Or these are simply people 10 levels stronger than him. No idea how wide the gap runs. 4 slipping into Namgung means one thing. They're here to burn the whole clan down. Leaning over the lantern-lit city, he muses he's caught in a bind. At his back is Tangwoo. Ahead lie the enemies of Namgung. The glowing flower marks crawl across his shoulder. Then the protagonist grins, red eyes blazing, and calls it a real dilemma. A full moon hangs over the harbor, lanterns drifting on black water. Elsewhere, 3 clansmen approach a torchlit gate in the dark. One asks squad leader Go Sang-gung if they must run the whole waterway. The leader rounds on him, snarling. He grabs the man's collar. Talking back is walking the channel that hard. The rookie squirms that it's just pointless.
Go Sang-gung reminds him the wedding is close, so checking twice is nothing. That only sets the kid off again, demanding to know what he said. He shoves the lantern at them and tells them to quit grumbling. The two head into the tunnel while the leader mutters about slackers.
Alone, he broods that a real man belongs on a battlefield, taking heads. Cracking his knuckles, he wishes some enemies would show up to kill the boredom. Deep in the waterway, the pair edge forward by lantern light. One gripes that everyone else is feasting while they crawl through a sewer. He turns to the youngest for backup, but the kid is frozen, staring. A soft breath drifts out of the dark, and a blade catches light. Blood sprays, and a strangled cry goes up. Enemies. A blade flashes through the dark as two swordsmen clash. Steel whirls, blood scatters. Blood sprays as a strike lands, and a grin splits the watcher's face. His blade tears through the spray, that cold eye glowing. Then a man lets out a jaw-cracking yawn, bored stiff. The old man grumbles that the others are taking too long. Lazy punks, he figures, slacking off again. A hand closes around a wooden staff outside the lantern-lit compound. Torch in hand, the guard stalks off to catch the slackers himself. His torchlight finds nothing but an empty, silent hall. Then the light catches a severed arm in a pool of blood. He reels back, choking on a curse. Severed limbs scattered everywhere. Down the hall he bolts, screaming for the youngest and for Dochil. The torch streaks past in the dark. He skids to a halt, frozen. A shape waits in the shadows. His eye goes wide with pure terror. The whole patrol lies butchered across the bloody floor. Bodies slump in the blood, every last one of them dead. The guard just stands there, mouth working, too stunned to speak. Corpses hang propped on spears, posed against the wall like a display. Then the protagonist leans from the dark, dead-eyed. He was just one arm short. He drops into the dark corridor, blade already drawn. The red eye flickers to life. The hunt is on. Across the water, a swordsman erupts in blue energy, light spiraling around him. Their blades cross. The old man snarls that this brat is something else. The kid is far stronger than he counted on. Tang Sam surges over the flooded floor, whipsword trailing behind. The gray-haired master finally places him. The boy who came with the poison hand. He demands why a guest would turn on his hosts. No answer comes. Only the dark and rising water. Dead-eyed, the protagonist says he is doing this for the Namgung clan. The old man roars that the boy skewered his warriors like meat. Aura flaring, Go Sang-gong vows there will be no quick death. He calls his strike. Heavenly Wind Sword, first form. The protagonist just stands there, red aura curling off him. His system answers. 3 forces sword art, second form, flowing heavenly clouds. Red eye glowing, he replies with a clean stroke at the yellow dragon. Red and blue collide in a blinding burst. The clash hurls the old man back, his guard broken. He recovers, aura whirling, and swears he will rip the boy apart. For once the protagonist's eyes go wide. Something caught him off guard. The old man presses a flurry, blue light and blood spraying. Robe shredded, the protagonist takes it all and stays on his feet. The system pings. The HP bar is nearly drained. A guard lunges with a blade, certain he has him. He spins in. Blood sprays across the dark. The man cackles, taunting the kid for being unarmed. The protagonist just stares back, dead-eyed and unbothered. Then he moves, and steel flashes through the blood. Behind them, the last man bolts down the corridor. Boots pound the wet stone. The chase is on. A blade is back in his hand, baffling the man who watched him disarmed. The guard touches his bleeding face, reeling at the strange chained weapon. Then the protagonist leaps across the dark, blade raised. He swings and the man reads it. Left hand, horizontal slash. The strike is parried, steel sparking blue. The big man surges up, eyes blazing, looming over the smaller fighter. Then the blade is gone again. The guard freezes in disbelief. In the dark, the protagonist watches him, calm. Then he strikes, and the big man's head snaps back. Under the full moon, the body crashes into the lake. Water and debris explode against the moonlight. Panic floods the last man at last. He is going to die here. The blade lands. Blood bursts across his face. Sword low, the protagonist lunges past the man's guard. Out by the water, the strike lands and the ground caves in. The guard's eyes go wide. Don't tell me. He is sure now. That earlier slash cut deep. Down on all fours, the protagonist kneels in the mud, bleeding. The man cackles, hand to his head, worked up over nothing. Then he drags himself upright, one hand on his ribs. Behind the grin, the protagonist runs the numbers. Too much damage taken. The status window blinks open, the health bar a red sliver. Health critical. Level 12. Dropping fast. One red eye narrows. His experience sits right at the edge, which means there is still a way out. He throws himself across the clearing, sword trailing. Pah, the man sneers. You must have a death wish. Then a wall of blue sword energy erupts and swallows him whole. Heavenly Wind Sword, final form, cleaving the heavens. The blast tears straight through where the protagonist stood. The commander panics. Are you trying to drag me down too? Fat chance, he spits, as the kid drives into the flames. Sword up, the protagonist punches clean through the storm of chi. He bursts out the other side, snarling, blood trailing behind.
Go Sangong sends him flying, blood spraying through the rain. Then the commander stands over him, sword raised for the kill. Laughing, he calls the boy a nobody who crawled toward greatness. Stubborn prick, the commander sneers. Time to end this. But down in the mud, one cold eye locks onto him. Bloodied and torn open, Tang Sam lies there, grinning up at the rain. That grin spreads ear to ear, red eyes glowing. The commander's confidence cracks.
"You son of a," he starts. He never finishes. A pillar of energy erupts where the body lay. Bloodied boots rise and plant themselves in the rain. Then blood sheets down over Go Shanggong. Head snapped back. A blade punches clean through his skull from above. The system rewards the kill, blaring level up. HP refills. The bar climbs to level 13. Light pours over the protagonist, washing the wounds away. Then it erupts, a column of blue tearing into the sky. From above, the beam lights the whole Namgung compound at night. All around the estate, every guest turns toward the strange light. A silver-haired man stares it down, asking what the hell that is. Far off, a hooded figure reaches a hand through drifting embers. Among the burning dead, the cult leader murmurs, "Now, it is finished." That same night, over at the Donri clan, the whole compound burns, masked attackers cutting people down on the steps. One man stands in the flames, Donri Chonwoo, head of the clan. A wild-haired shadow walks straight out of the fire toward him. The two come face to face as the hall caves in behind them. Shaken, the old master demands to know who he even is. Then he swings, snarling. Why his clan? Why Danri? One blow drops him, sprawled across the bloodied floor. The attacker leans down. Tell Ho Young. The Danri clan is wiped out. Time to start the great plan. Elsewhere, a pale silver-haired man crouches over a fallen girl in the dark. A hand reaches toward a city glowing across the moonlit lake. By her clothes, a Danri girl. A whole mess, Pagahiel sighs, for nothing. He rises over the body, eyes fixed on the distant water. Already over? Gwangwon really has no idea how to have fun. His gaze settles on the lights of the Namgung clan. No way Byonyoung would send a signal this loud, he figures. Then a colder thought. Could Namgung have learned about the plan? A kneeling subordinate gets the order. Seal off every road into Anhui and commence the first stratagem. Behind him, an army of cultists waits in silence. A ring of hooded cultists bows as one. Back at the Namgung clan, two patrolmen freeze at what their torch finds. The corridor is a carpet of corpses, blood splashed across every stone. And on the wall, scrawled in that blood, when the moon is full, the emperor falls. The message runs on. I shall become king. The whole clan reads it now, a vow signed in their own men's blood. An aide asks who could do this. The old lord says one thing is certain. Someone is hunting the Namgung clan. With the wedding days away, he orders more guards and zero slack. Anything suspicious, the men report straight to him. He reads the riddle aloud. Emperor means the clan, full moon means the wedding night. But the last line nags. Who is the one who walks slowly? The clan head's face hardens, lost on what is happening to his house. Come daylight, the great tower stands quiet against a clear sky. Inside, a man jolts upright mid-meeting. He insists it loud and clear. The whole thing is a setup. That is Namgung Jung of the Azure Skysword unit. Do Heok only joined last year. Arms wide, he scoffs. Suspect their future son-in-law over scribbles, and all Murim laughs at them. Then a cooler voice answers, firmly against him. That's Namgung In of the Boundless Sword unit. In the War Council, a strategist studies the 8 characters the intruder left behind. Walking slowly shall become king, he says, and the words spell one name, Do Heok. The bearded elder rears back, choking out a stunned, "What?" The intruder, the strategist goes on, slipped in secret into the great Namgung clan. Up on a rooftop, the killer cut them down in plain sight, then left the message. So the goal was never just to sneak in and kill or spy. A pillar of light tore the sky, a show-off signal, before he vanished like a ghost. The elder erupts. Arrest Do Heok over an unconfirmed frame-up. Smear the whole clan. And what becomes of the bride if this is a setup? Then the lord on the dais cuts them both off. Enough. The white-bearded patriarch tells them both are right. That is why the Thunder and Wind unit leaders are already out hunting answers. The Heavenly Thunder unit has gone scouting toward Hefei. Under the full moon, any plot against the clan should be stirring by now. Footsteps pound down the wooden hall. A scout drops to the threshold. My lord, urgent report. This is Namgung Hu, leader of the Heavenly Thunder unit. The patriarch demands to know what happened. Of the unit members who went scouting, the kneeling man begins. A grim retainer reports the patrol is gone. Not one man has returned. An elder's jaw drops. Not a single one came back? They were due home 2 hours ago, but the lake stays empty. The old clan head grabs him by the shoulders, demanding answers. Kneeling, the retainer has nothing to give. He forces it out.
The Namgung clan, it seems, is surrounded by enemies.
That lands hard. The elders stunned in the lamplit hall. The clan head lunges closer, snapping, "Who could possibly do this?" A hand presses to his brow, naming the 18 water channels of the Yangtze. But there's a treaty with them, and a river force can't strike this far inland. The scout's report points to the inland side of Hefei, sealed off. What faction in Anhui could ring the Namgung clan? No such power should exist. The elders refuse to believe it. The whole thing makes no sense. Then, the retainer says only one place in all Murim is that strong. The Heavenly Demon Castle, red lit under the storm. Before its gates, a lone figure speaks the oath. Full moon, the emperor falls, and he who walks slowly shall become king. The protagonist murmurs the line again, watching the fortress glow. Then he turns, that cold smile spreading. The one who walks slowly becomes king. Dawn breaks over the Namgung compound, quiet for now. In green tang robes, the protagonist stands, head bowed, faintly smiling. A glowing sigil hovers over him, eyes still shut. Threads of blue energy coil and settle into his frame. Dust spirals up from the ground beneath his boots. The surge flares brighter, then sinks away. A memory flickers up, the clash that put him over the edge. Blade meets blade in the dark, the old commander pressing hard. Then his eyes open, the red one glowing, the kill already done. In memory, he drops low, eyes blazing white, and drives the strike home. He rises out of the swing, energy still crackling off the blade. Blade leveled, a thin grin. He admits to himself that one was close. Had Go Sanggong drawn his heavenly wind forms a beat sooner, things might have gone differently. He admits it plainly. He would have been finished. Real martial arts hit far harder than any skill the game ever gave him. Light blooms around him as the power locks in. Energy floods his body, sword crackling, stronger than an hour ago. To climb higher, he has to master them himself. A pillar of light erupts skyward. At its base, he crouches, the whole column pouring out of him. He stands silent in the glow, eyes burning, blood drifting around him. A pillar of blue sword energy erupts, swords and blood scattering. The light fades over the moonlit rooftops. Bodies lie sprawled in the rain, energy still crackling around them. He drags in a breath and admits it. He finally won. The Tang clan's method is making him grow frighteningly fast. Even if these borrowed meridians are only temporary, the experience is carved into his body, and with training, he can wield the real thing. Then a system window dings. Level 13. First class advancement unlocked. The mission, Wandering Warrior, is to kill 100 enemies of level 10 or higher. Class advancement, he wonders. 100 of them, and the catch finally lands. Yesterday's enemies were about that strong. The last few only 5 or 6. He thought he'd gotten stronger, but Dong Bong-soo knows this won't be easy. Then fire blooms across the clan behind him, while he stands dead calm. 10 minutes earlier, a pair of feet strides across the stone. A ponytailed figure looks out over a courtyard full of scrambling people. That is Do Heo-ok, the groom, the son-in-law everyone underestimates. He stops in the courtyard as 2 clansmen close in. Everything got complicated after that flare, he notes. Guards everywhere now. The groom decides he needs to warn the shadows, just as a guard hails him. But an elder calls from the crowd, asking where he is rushing off to. A guard frowns. The boundless sword leader, out at this hour? The blonde swordsman strolls up, claiming he saw a strange light and came to check. The other man presses him on whether he found an intruder. For a beat, he just stares, one eye glinting yellow. Behind him, a row of armed men wait, hands on their hilts. A dark silhouette against the sky, face swallowed in shadow. The guards close in. He found nothing, so he comes to the Imperial King's Hall. They won't take no for an answer. Do Heo-ok watches a figure walk off and lets out a slow breath. Then something inside him purrs that it quite likes this vessel. A demonic grin splits his face, so they have already noticed. He throws his head back, screaming the name, Do Heo-ok. Fire blooms over the compound as ranks of attackers surge forward. His eyes go wide in horror at the Imperial King's Hall. He whirls toward the blast. Too late. Golden energy tears through the hall, and all he gets out is a curse. The Lightning Emperor sword technique lights up, the attacker grinning through it. The strike comes down in a blinding sheet of gold. First form, Thunder Strike. One lone figure stands at the center of cracked, smoking earth. Dust rolls across the whole compound from high above. Across the ruined courtyard, the Namgung men freeze, demanding to know what this is. Then one recognizes him. Isn't that young Master Do, out there alone? A scarred warrior throws his head back and roars. Another drops to the cracked stone, screaming into the wreckage. Even by surprise, the report goes, he wiped out the Boundless Sword Squad in one strike. Right then, golden aura erupts off the distant figure like a torch. A bald elder squints at it and mutters a low, huh. Then he wheels around and barks at the man behind him. The groom keeps walking off as 2 guards chase, asking what he is doing. One reaches out, starting to yell, "Stop!" He never finishes. Blood sprays as the strike lands. The crowd reels back, faces white, a body crumpling at their feet. Panic breaks loose. Young Master Do has gone mad. Everyone run! And there he is, hair wild, face cracked open, grinning like a beast.
The old clan head clutches his chest. Do Heo Ok, no, who are you?
The traitor just grins wider and refuses to say. Golden lightning explodes outward in a blinding wall. The old lord catches it full force and buckles. The light swallows his face, one eye blown wide. A single predatory eye burns through the glare. Then a green poison aura cuts in, an old hand rising. What are you doing? Green energy tears down through the dark. A swordsman strikes. A body crumples below. A hand locks the hilt. Poison light coiling along the blade. A Namgung fighter breathes the name in disbelief. Tang Wu. The protagonist notes it cold. The old man stepped in, just as expected. Then the poison elder lashes out, green aura flaring. The traitor clicks his tongue, yellow eyes narrowing. The two masters collide in a burst of green and gold. Tang Lu lands in a crouch, hand raised, facing the brown-haired stranger. The saved fighter stammers thanks to the soul-chasing poison hand. Hands behind his back, the elder muses the Murim has grown cold. A son-in-law striking his own in-laws in the back, he says.
The traitor only bares his teeth in a defiant laugh. Bare-chested and crackling gold, Do Hyo Ok asks if the Jianghu isn't all like that. Then the traitor lunges, a dark shape charging through the fire. The elder meets him, never one to talk before he acts. Reaved in poison, Tong Wu demands the truth. Who and what he wants. The stranger grins, naming the secret butterfly art. Says he'd love to fight, but off to the side, the protagonist reads it cold. That one is planning to run. Strange he came alone, like he's been hunting for something all along. Beside him, Huaya frowns, wondering why her grandfather is way over there. His red eye narrows. Was the monster going for her? If so, found you. The protagonist blasts off in a green streak. The poison elder snarls, asking if he means to see this through. Their energy slams together. Then the boy shoots toward the courtyard. Poison aura floods the old hands, his eyes blazing. A wall of golden force sweeps across the broken ground. The enemy clocks it cold. He threw his sword mid-battle. Across the yard, Huaya watches the leaping figure, frozen. The bearded master roars and lunges, hand outstretched. She just stares, stunned, as the storm crackles around her. Then he reaches her first and yanks her into his arms. The blast erupts where they stood, swallowing everything white. When it clears, a massive crater is carved into the earth. Tang Wu sprints through the smoke, screaming for his granddaughter. His yellow eye blows wide with dread. Tang Sam, he breathes, spotting the pair crouched in the rubble. Did you save her? The boy holds the unconscious girl close. Then he passes her back into the old man's arms. Overwhelmed, the elder looks up and starts to thank him. But a cackle cuts the air. Someone's already diving back in. A gaunt master looms against the open sky, eyes fixed below. The protagonist clocks it at once. This one is strong. Strong enough to stand toe-to-toe with Tang Lu. The silver demon turns with mock courtesy, hailing the great hero Tang. Pagahil flashes a wide grin, promising to visit again soon. Then he springs across the rooftop, rings of energy coiling around him. Tang Wu watches him go, jaw tight. The Namgung men gape, no idea what they just witnessed. Apart from them all, the protagonist stands in the drifting ash, silent. His eyes burn red as he weighs the demon, cold. Right then, the silver demon spots him, manic glee splitting his face. Ah, so it was you all along, Pagahil says. The man behind last night's pillar of light, the one wrecking his plans. Two predators lock eyes. Was it really all the kids doing? Hunched on the ridge, the demon offers a parting line. Meet again. Then, Pagahil blasts off the roof in a streak of light. A Namgung fighter roars after him, refusing to let him slip. Below, Tang Wu cradles his battered granddaughter, coughing out a faint grandpa. His scarred eyes go wide with fury. The old master kneels on the cracked stone and grinds out a curse. Looking down at the ruin, the realization lands. They've been had. Above them, the Namgung halls are shattering, the sky burning orange. The old lord sits among his own dead and laughs, hollow. Just 4 people reduced the king's hall to this, he knows it. One of them, a yin-yang twin demon the groom supposedly killed. The whole thing was a setup. Do Hyo Ok, the marriage, planned from the start. Every messenger pigeon to the alliance was cut down by falcons. With the defensive formation destroyed, the lord admits they're rats in a jar. Then a man with a cane steps toward the patriarch across the floor. The advisor asks if he may be so bold to speak. 3 options, he says. Fight, flee, or send a messenger. The patriarch waves him to the third, the rest are impossible. A rider could reach the alliance in under a week, the advisor says, but the lord already sees it. Who could break the siege and survive? There is one, the advisor says, a master whose movement arts could punch through. He means Tang Wu, the green-robed poison elder standing apart. But even Elder Tang, the patriarch counters, can't break a siege this large alone. The advisor goes quiet, head bowed. No clean answer. That, he says, is why they will use them. The hundreds of wedding guests still trapped inside, desperate to escape. Moonlight on the lake, the Namgung compound quiet on its cliff. Inside, the war council eyes the green-robed boy. Who is that child? Tang Wu vouches for him, one granted the Tang name. Speak freely. The old Namgung patriarch bows his head, worn to the bone. Slip out by Soho Lake, he begs the elder, and bring back help. Try that, Tang Lu scoffs, and most of these guests die on the water. The patriarch only bows lower, trusting the poison master to know best. Take a boat to the Yangtze, the old man says, and the river opens.
There, the 18 waterway strongholds can send aid. When should we leave? Today, this very night. The elder's brow knots as the grim plan settles in. Tang Wu rises to prepare, the old man still kneeling behind him. The patriarch calls after him before the door. Take Hai too, he begs. She shouldn't watch him fight that man. Caught off guard, the elder turns. Is that truly all he asks? The old face twists, teeth bared against what's coming. Alone, kneeling, the patriarch admits his clan may not last 10 days. That breaks the elder open. He spins back, snarling. You crazy bastard. Poison light flares in his eye. Not while the poisoned hand stands here. Tang Lu sweeps out, vowing reinforcements, and Hua Ya cries for her grandfather. A clansman kneels at a low table while the protagonist watches from the dark. Later, alone at the water's edge, Tang Sam weighs saving Hua Ya. Arms crossed, he reflects. The plan leans on too many uncertainties. The young man looks back toward the lit compound across the night. Elsewhere, Hua Ya stretches and grumbles. What is grandfather really planning? She catches herself, cheeks coloring, and stammers. The two end up side by side at the shore, silence stretching. Hua Ya stands stiff, arms crossed, while the protagonist waits beside her. This is unbearable, she thinks. She can't read this guy at all. Her eye fixes on him. But the girl hesitates, hand drifting to her hair, fumbling for words. At last, it comes out. Thanks for saving me. Don't get the wrong idea, she adds. She just never gets another chance. The words slide off the protagonist, his face sinking into shadow. Across the lake, a silver-haired figure stares at the glowing Namgung fortress. In the forest behind him, a hulking shape steps from the dark. Eyes narrowing, the newcomer greets him as Shifting Shadow. Then the muscle resolves into the traitor Do Hyo Ok, very much alive. The demon demands his excuse. Do Hyo Ok calls him Ash Shadow, smirking. 4 shadows died for nothing, the elder counters, the first stratagem fallen apart. The core of the first stratagem is to become a hero of the Orthodox faction. Standing here doesn't mean Do Hyo Ok can't still become that hero. Then, red energy erupts around him as he gathers his power. A new figure grins. How about this then? In this form, the demon says, I don't even need Namgung Hae. Wouldn't I just naturally inherit the whole Namgung clan? Paga Hill stares at the new shape. Is that really Namgung Hae? The silver demon bursts out laughing. This changes everything. Then his grin curls, and he adds one word, though. She's the first beauty of Anhui for a reason, even with a man underneath. The shapeshifter's true monstrous face flickers through, snarling. Have you lost your mind? Woman or man, who cares? Looks good, tastes good, that's enough. Then the two demons clash, gold light slamming into purple. The silver demon's eyes flare yellow, a curse on his lips. A hawk drops out of the night sky toward the pair by the lake. One of them squints up. A message from Water Shadow. He reads it, just as he thought. The ships have set sail. A shame, but it's time to move, he says. What now? She just smiles. She's going to follow that hawk. The masked woman muses the Namgung clan would be far more fun than Water Shadow. The silver demon scoffs at Tang Lu. One of the 10 greats, sure. His pale eye narrows. Then she asks about that pillar of light. Did he ever learn who set it off? Not a chance, the demon tells her, calling her Ash Shadow. The same woman the cult swore to spare. Shifting Shadow. But when he reaches for her, she's already gone. The lake lies quiet under the moon. Across the water, the Namgung stronghold glows. Elsewhere, 3 figures stand frozen on a bridge, locked in a standoff. Masked clansmen ring them in the dark, watching. Down in the brush, someone else watches too. A scarred old warrior crouches in the leaves, gripping a sheathed weapon. Then a runner sprints across the courtyard toward the lit halls. On a great warship, a kneeling messenger reports. It is confirmed. The Supreme Chief watches the compound from the rail, a spiked club at her side. She gives one order, launch the ships. That woman commands the 18 waterway strongholds of the Yangtze, Water Shadow. A misty harbor, junk ships drifting in, one figure alone on the pier. However peerless Tang Wu is, the protagonist knows a hard truth is coming. He and Hua Ya are just dead weight to the old man now. So the boy runs the worst case, a real moment of life and death. Among Hua Ya, Namgung Hae, and so-called Tang Sam, someone gets cut loose. It would be him. So he decides to prepare ahead. Meanwhile, a relief fleet cuts across the misty water. Too quiet, a crewman mutters. Not one enemy the whole way here. A force big enough to besiege Namgung should have left guards behind. The white-haired commander slows the ships, just in case. The fleet creeps forward across the Black River. Then a crewman points ahead. Lights? A row of fires glows along the horizon. A huge ship looms up, a dragon coiled across its sail. Enemy troops scramble. The Namgung message must have reached reinforcements. On the docks, the trapped clansmen throw up their arms. Saved. The 18 waterway strongholds of the Yangtze, here to help, just as Byuk promised. But his jaw clenches. Why are there so many ships? The whole armada lines up, walling off the route ahead. The strange quiet makes sense now. Dozens of ships choke every way out. The old Namgung patriarch grinds his teeth as the noose pulls tight. From the rampart, the Lord spells it out. Those ships are no rescue. He roars the order to turn their own boats around, fast. A wall of burning ships spans the lake. The only plan left is run. On deck, the crew finally clocks it. The fleet is the enemy. At the prow stands a hulking armored warrior, war club planted, eyes on the dark water. Behind the walls, a towering woman rests a great sword down, archers ranked at her back. With a thin grin, she gives one word: fire. The protagonist just watches, unbothered. The whole fleet erupts, raining fire across the water. The blast tears through the hull, flinging green-wreathed Tang Wu and the others like rag dolls. Flames swallow the compound, explosions ripping through it. Then green poison energy roars out as the old elder answers head-on. The protagonist stands in the middle of it, fire and timber raining down. The old lord plants himself on the burning deck, barking his men to reverse the ships. Then his head snaps around as heavenly demon cult banners rise over the lake. From above, the trap is complete. Enemy boats swarm in as the Namgung ships burn. Shaken, Hua turns to her grandfather. What do we do now? Cult ships loom in front and back, demon banners closing the jaws. The dock is burning, and someone screams to break for the shore. A gaunt old commander barks his men to drag the survivors clear. The pier splinters and caves in under the flames. A lone figure launches skyward in a streak of blue light. Then he drops, slamming straight down into the pack. A blood-soaked cultist grins under her bangs and orders them all dead. Steel rings across the collapsing deck as the slaughter spreads. 3 of them stand trapped on the boards, fire walling the way ahead. The old man grits his teeth and braces. Tang Wu strides through the flames, green poison coiling at his hand. The venom lashes out in a whip of green threads. Hua Ya runs at him, begging her grandfather to stop. He says it flat. They have to reach the shore. Even for him, she argues, carrying all 3 is too much. No, the old man answers. Just 2. 2? The word hangs and her stomach drops. The protagonist stands alone at the burning rail, back to her. Then Tang Wu turns and says his name, Tang Sam. He was greedy for the talent, so he planted the goo to leash the boy. But the poison elder admits he has grown old, even attached to what he calls a doll. His poison eye glows cold. He won't kill the boy, but he won't save him. Hua Ya reaches out with a start as the protagonist walks off into the flames. She lowers her head, hair hiding her face. The old man names him aloud, Tang Sam of the Tang clan. The clan may never know he exists, but the soul-chasing poison hand will remember. Then the poison master shoots off across the water in a green streak. Left alone, the protagonist stands amid walls of fire, a lone silhouette. With no one watching now, he muses it's finally time to begin. Behind him, a battered cultist hauls himself up, blade lifting for a last lunge. The man swings down, snarling, as a blue glow flares in a waiting hand. The boy moves first, a blur cutting up to meet him. A breath later, the cultist drops, one more body among the ruins. Knife raised in the dark, the predator behind the face slips loose. Then more cultists fan over the corpses, their leader barking to leave no survivors. Boots crunch across the burning planks as they close in. A bald fighter squints through the smoke, calling to the boy among the dead. Mistaking him for a beaten ally, the man asks if the bloodied figure is all right. A slow, blood-streaked grin splits his face. Dead calm, he answers, all good. A scarred man with a glowing eye presses for word of a stranger with pitch-black eyes. Across the burning shoreline, the pirate warlord just says, no. Every route was sealed, yet the missing man slipped away clean. Crouched in firelit ruins, a wild-haired shadow waits, perfectly still. A single green eye glints out of the dark. Well, nothing a good massacre won't fix. Deep in the night woods, a long column of hunters threads the trees. Then swordsmen burst from cover, blades drawn, closing fast. A blade erupts green from the ground, throwing the whole circle back. The energy tears outward in a screaming spiral. Wrapped in poison green aura, Tang Sam carves straight through them. Faces twist as he cuts the line apart. An old swordmaster plants himself, sword up, disciples fanning out behind. Gaunt and white-haired, the elder fixes one yellow eye on the threat. The hunters close ranks instead. They press on. Deep in a black forest, a bearded swordsman scans the tree line, on edge. He watches his men crouch, reading tracks in the dirt. His teeth grind and a low curse slips out. This is Gi De Hyo, captain of the Black Crow Squad, calling a short rest.
Scattered across the clearing, the survivors slump down in the dark. Half the unit is gone. He figures it might be fewer. Danri Hui, the one they came for, has vanished without a trace. The odds aren't just hers now. Even his squad may not make it. The captain drops against a tree, set on reaching the Danri clan fast. Then his eyes snaps wide, locked on the dark. He surges up, sword drawn, barking the unit to rise and ready. The squad forms a ring of blades. He demands to know who's out there. Nothing answers from the black trees, just silence. Then armed shapes step out. A grinning brute, a bandaged killer, more behind. Pirates, someone chokes. Red eyes flare from a bandaged face, and a soft voice says, "Peekaboo." An old Danri fighter rallies his men, swearing they all live to see home. The deck is a meat grinder, blades flashing in the dark. Then a hail of swords screams across the planks at one lone target. The protagonist answers with a single sweeping cut, light blazing off the steel. Teeth gritted, the old swordsman is already past his limit, so he opens with a named form, single stream 10-sword style. Blue sword energy erupts in a wall. Then comes Flying Swallow 10 successive swords, another form right behind. Arc after arc of blue light rips down the deck. Dong Bong-soo leaps into the storm of blades, robes flaring wide. A purple eye watches from the dark, finally reading his sword. Alone in the wreckage, the protagonist draws his blades and sizes him up. The old man scoffs at petty tricks, blind to what closes in. Then they collide in a burst of steel. Blood sprays as a blade tears through. They split apart midair, drops of red scattering between them. Crouched and dead-eyed, he names his answer. 3 Forces sword. The old swordsman's eyes go wide, recognizing it far too late. Then comes the drop, blade trailing cold light. The blade falls in a wet arc. A bearded swordsman lunges in, sneering that he dropped his guard. Then those eyes blow wide with horror. The protagonist had already slipped a blade into him. The bearded master skids back, demanding how it happened. He could have sworn his strike landed clean. A rule once taught him, in a death match, whoever hides more wins. The cold eyes narrow over the mask. From the dark, the protagonist mocks him. One hidden dagger, that all. The man freezes, rattled by that stare. He's sure he has seen those eyes somewhere before. A ring of hidden daggers floats out around the boy in the rain. Then he hurls them all at once. The volley streaks through the rain toward the swordsman. Blades punch into him from every angle. Bleeding out, the master sees weapons pulled from thin air. One red eye burning, the protagonist leaves him gasping at the sorcery. Without pause, he is already dashing for the next. The next enemy charges, screaming to die. Surrounded now, the protagonist takes the swarm from front and back. An old swordsman freezes mid-fight, no way left to dodge. A blade rips through him, blood spraying the dark. Red eyes blazing, blood on the grin, he snarls them off his hunt. The old warrior just stares back, frozen in pure terror. Those eyes, the man mutters. It all comes back now. Teeth gritted, it lands. This is that lowly Danri bug. Eyes bulging, the old man shrieks the name. So Sam. A lowly wretch like that, he spits, doing all this. Since when, the master demands, could a stable hand fight? How long, he roars, swinging, have you played me this whole time? Behind the blade, one red eye stays ice cold. Their swords slam together in a shower of sparks. Straining against the lock, the old man calls him a demon. It dawns on him. The Bongyang suicide plague was this monster too. The protagonist drives in, swords crossing again in the rain. You were nothing, the elder spits, just a boy shoveling dung. His wrapped hand tightens on the hilt. Then the whip sword uncoils, lashing across the red in snaking loops. He drops into the cult ranks, blade trailing blood. One of them barely registers the strike before it lands. The dying man whimpers he has to reach the Danri clan. Blades in both hands, the protagonist carves through the rest. A masked figure watches. The one who hides more holds the edge. Later, in a dark wood, armed men gather around scattered dead. A swordsman raises his blade, snapping that reinforcements never came. He was right. At some point, the fresh cultists simply dried up. The bandaged operative senses something off and goes to look. Then shapes move in the trees, and one grins. Help at last. A line of torches snakes up the path, the higher-ups crawling late. But his smile dies. The newcomers wear their clothes inside out. He whips around, screaming a warning to the stronghold leader. The leader barely gets out a question about the inside-out arrivals. A blade tears through, blood spraying, that red eye burning in the dark. The rest freeze in horror as their leader drops before them. Tang Sam strolls from the dark, blade dragging, calm as ever. Blood on his grin, he gives one cold order, leave none alive. Deep in the dark woods, a battered group hunches over, worn to the bone. The woman turns to the old man. He felt it too, right? Teeth clenched, the veteran admits it. Yeah, this is a driving hunt.
Something keeps herding them toward the peak. A wide-eyed disciple bolts in, telling them to come see this. The whole group stares up into the dark, frozen. Driven to a barren hilltop, they're hemmed in by black on every side. And then it lands. A cliff. Dead end. One of them drops, asking what happens to them now. The old veteran's eyes go wide. It's over. A guest breaks down, screaming he only came for the wedding. Now they all die. Then, a hulking shadow steps out of the dark. Baring his teeth, the old man snaps at them to shut up. Who says it's over when an old man like him hasn't quit? He rounds on the younger ones, really giving up on living. They just have to kill everything that climbs up here. He dares them to deny it, and one mutters a beaten no. Across the clearing, the protagonist watches them ready their blades. Then the old man lunges with his claws, the woman beside him, knives flashing. A cornered survivor throws his hands up, swearing they were attacked too. The old swordsman flinches back, barely managing a, "What?" "The men turned on us," he pleads. "The leader's own people. We're the same side." The elder seizes on it. Internal conflict then, a chance to break out. Sword drawn, he barks at whoever's in the way to move or die. Then a woman's voice cuts through the dark, laughing. Great hero Tang. A spiked mace on her shoulder, she strolls up. Ran so hard for this. She nods at the bearded man beside her. The survivors look like rats in a jar. Gripping his blade, the elder snarls back. "Who the hell are you?" Then the big man's grin splits wide. "Ah, maybe you'd know this face," he says, tilting it into the light. The swordsman's eyes blow open. You're... He screams the name in pure horror. "Do Hail Ok." The warlord cuts him off. "Enough nonsense. Deal with the poison hand already." Blood flecked on her cheek. She shoulders past while the traitor turns. He waves it off. The old man dies either way. One guest hasn't shown. Right then, a black silhouette steps in, and the two mock him. "Easy, great hero Tang." The traitor leans in. "One little thing before they clash. That piece of trash you were dragging around." A glowing eye fixes on him through the dark. Where is he right now? Bandaged and red-eyed, the protagonist wonders if they were really hunting him. Killing their own allies that recklessly was bound to draw eyes. That pillar of light he fired off ripped their plans apart. To them, he's exactly the monster they have to put down. And to him, being hunted like this is pure delight. A long-haired swordsman in pale robes knows that light thrower isn't dead. He stalks the rainy forest, bellowing for his prey to stop hiding. 3, the hunter counts, swearing they'll meet again. One red eye blazing, he stamps forward through the downpour. Then he lashes out, an arc of energy tearing up the ground. His grin splits wide. "There you are." Meanwhile, the protagonist pulls up his system window. Level 13, low HP. He triggers a burst of light and vanishes inside it. The swordsman gathers his power, robes snapping in the wind, but the glow fades on empty, blood-stained stone. Gone? No, he caught a shadow in that flash. Down the cliff then. The hunter steps to the ledge where blood streaks the rock. Not even Tang Wu could survive a drop like that hole. Suicide, he wonders, peering at the firelit figures far below. Or something else. Swordsman and a masked woman wring a body crumpled in the dirt. A long-haired captive stirs awake on the cold ground. A grim swordsman scratches his head, grumbling this whole thing sours his mood. He grins down at her, glowing-eyed. A shame, but she'll do. The captive bride blinks up, stammering, "Young Master Do, that's Namgung Hae." Golden eyes wet, begging to know why. He just mocks her. Was their lady always too dense to read a room? Then a shout cuts in. "Fall back! The enemy is closing!" A robed leader raises a hand, ordering the rest to bring him Tang Wu. Armed cultists march from the trees as she screams for them to wait. 2 cultists freeze. A robed figure drifts through the mist. "Move!" one barks. The other spins, jaw dropping, and curses under his breath. Then the protagonist drops the man flat. White hair, robe soaked black. He did say move. He smirks at them all. Start the feast without someone as great as him? The cult panics. An old master fretting the last few already matched their peak experts. A wrinkled eye blows wide with fear. A bloodied hand flexes in the dark. Then he grins wider. Now that he thinks of it, he brought a gift. He hurls it, and a severed head tumbles across the ground toward the cult. A woman with twin hair buns flinches back, lost. Then the silver demon throws his arms wide, bloodied, calling for a drum roll. The gift? The freshly severed head of the Namgung patriarch. The survivors just stare, horror draining the color from them. One elder buckles to his knees beside the head, breaking apart. Pagahiol bows his head, shoulders shaking, barely holding it in. Then he loses it completely and starts laughing. He howls about the bride cradling her dead grandfather, first beauty of Anhui. Nothing pleases him more than a beautiful woman's ruined, crying face. He grins, telling his men this is the funniest thing he's seen, but the cultists only watch in dead silence. The demon whines that he's the only one enjoying himself. His own men mutter it under their breath. Lunatic, not even human. Still, he boasts they crushed the Namgung clan whole, and soon enough, he says, Tang Wu falls to their hands too. 2 beyond peak heads and 2 wives to keep at his side. His cackle fades into total silence over the dark cliffs.
Then, green poison light crackles through the rain. Tang Wu steps from the dark. Bodies scatter as green slashes rip the night apart. Huaya cries out for her grandfather while the protagonist carves through the press. The old man has poured half his remaining energy into the Dragon Phoenix needles. It won't be enough to land them safe, he warns. Limbs could be ruined for good, but all that matters, he says, is the two of them surviving. An enemy lunges, screaming at Tang Wu to ask what he's doing. Another marks the target by name, Tang Hua of the Sichuan Tang clan. His palm slams forward with one command: survive. Even broken, even ruined, he roars at them to stay alive, and come back one day to repay the blood debt to Tang Wu. Flung into the dark, the girl screams for her grandpa. Her voice tears out in raw refusal as the night swallows her. A purple aura fiend snarls that the old man stole his prey. Green poison erupts behind them while the protagonist hurtles away. The two are thrown clear across the valley, the elder left blazing alone. A watcher freezes, sensing that aura suddenly spike. Fists wrapped in poison flame, he calls the heavenly demon castle to come. Empty title or not, the soul-chasing poison hand reaps their spirit essence. Rain and blood, a battered figure tumbling through a storm of blades. That's the protagonist, hurled off the cliff, 1,000 meters still to fall. A drop like this is suicide, but his leveled body and inventory corpses might soften it. He figures he can reach the bottom alive. The blade rams the cliff face, sparks tearing off the rock. The sword carves a long line down the wall as he plummets. Teeth clenched, red eye flaring, he calls up the inventory mid-fall. Out spill the corpses, scattered below as cushions. Then he drives the sword deep and breaks. The blade grinds rock. His foot slams the wall. He keeps scraping down the rain-slick stone, dragging the fall under control. Tang Wu, the cult, all of it ends below. Survive, wait for an opening. Far below, mist swallows the ravine, one faint green glow on a ledge. Poison arts. A watcher breeds. Sure, the old man couldn't cut loose before. The protagonist gone, the granddaughter gone, the stubborn elder finally gambling everything. But that call means Tang Wu is already on the back foot. A cultist shrieks at everyone to attack the poison hand. Snarling swordsmen close in, more shadows massing behind them in the rain. The whole horde surges through the haze, screaming to kill him. The old man lashes a poison palm, blood spraying as blades crowd in. An army floods the cliff edge toward one green light, every voice claiming the kill. The ring tightens, blades raise through the toxic fog. Then he unleashes it, soul-dementing ghost poison hand. A green blast tearing the front rank apart. Poison! The survivors scream, as the cloud rolls over and eats them alive. A cultist reels in the haze, gasping out the name of that aura. The poison rolls toward them, and someone screams to block it. Then it detonates, flinging blades through a wall of green. Deep in the dark forest, two cult fighters square up over a slumped shape. The elder stands wounded in the night, back turned, robes torn. A survivor marvels he can still throw an attack that strong. Without the antidote beads, Tang Lu admits, they'd have melted on the spot. The wounded master coughs hard, blood on his lips. He bares his teeth, gasping, green veins crawling up his gaunt face. The poison elder slumps down and asks how they're all still fine. A young swordsman whips his blade around for the next cut. The old man goes wide-eyed, blood running from his mouth. On his knees, hands in the dirt, the elder throws back a ragged laugh. Panting, he says he finally feels alive. They kept all this to themselves. Green aura erupts from his hand and a scream tears through the trees. A pillar of poison swallows the cultists as they beg to be saved. He lunges into the haze, dragging an enemy down by the throat. Blades and poison collide in a burst of green and red. Then it clicks for him. An antidote bead. They came fully prepared to kill the old man, he says. But here's the thing. The poison master rises, eyes blazing gold, aura roaring back. A bead could never stop one of the 10 greats, he sneers. He blurs forward, and a cultist shouts that he's too fast. The old man tears low through their ranks as they scream to clear the way. A wall of green poison erupts, swallowing the whole field. Steel darts scream out of the blast. The force flings a body clean through the storm. He hits the ground grinning, snarls that he broke through. At its heart, one old man stands against the churning vortex, alone. Close on the protagonist, scarred and wild-eyed, teeth bared. He slams down hard, robes streaming behind him. Then a long-haired pursuer roars, demanding to know where he thinks he's going. Another scoffs that a mere hidden weapon will never work. A spinning poison flower blade answers, slicing the dark. It detonates in a burst of light. Then they round on the old man, screaming at the crazy elder. A demonic-eyed cultist snaps. Stop throwing weapons and fight Tang Lu fair. Then the technique blooms, a storm of shadow petals raining down. Tang Lu only fires back. And 3-on-1 isn't cowardly? Green darts scatter through the air. The whole field goes up in chained explosions. He hurtles through the blast untouched, robes whipping. A bloodied pursuer grunts that the Tang clan is petty to the last. One eye burns, fierce and unyielding. Then the elder lands twin swords through them, a green poison line trailing. His poison floods loose, the face beneath gone monstrous, eyes molten. Caught you. Green poison whips lash the night as Tang Wu fights on alone. But the old man takes a hit, blood spraying through the venom. A guard goes up, the enemy's claw already on him. His eye blows wide. Then he roars, poison energy bursting out in every direction. A pressure point strike lands. His body locks up cold. The poison master hangs there, frozen, unable to move. A glowing-eyed shadow leans in, vowing to gouge out the eyes that dared look at Hua-ya. Green wreathed fingers close toward his face. The claw rakes across, and blood arcs into the dark. Out in the clearing, the cultist stands over his wreckage. Then golden lightning tears the dark apart. A grinning master rises, wrapped head to toe in crackling gold. The elder figures it out. The real skill was a palm art, not the saber. The lightning palm slams home, and someone screams his name. He names his technique. Thunderclap 100 strikes palm. The poison master answers with his own. 6 acupoint blood hand. Green and gold collide in a blinding burst. Tang Wu feels it go wrong. He's being driven back. The enemy grins close, mocking that the old man's energy runs dry. Light swallows him as his counter caves in. Half blind now, he mourns his precious eyes, the ones meant for pretty women. The lightning master snarls, cursing him for refusing to fall. Then the elder hurls a last violet blast, vowing to drag him down too. Green poison meets a purple crescent as old man and colt collide. The silver demon stares through the blast, unimpressed. Then one of his men gets launched, slammed flat. Violet power surges, and the colt recoils in alarm. Tang Wu hunches in the storm, poison crackling off him. A body sails up the cliff face and crashes down. Across the plateau, a warlord stands over a bound captive, blade drawn. The downed fighter screams that the old man tore his eyes out. Hostage at knife point, they threaten to slit his throat now. Pagahiol raises a hand. Wait. Something moves through the fog below, slow and steady. It's the protagonist, one eye glowing, blood still spattered around him. 2 cultists go cold, asking how that crazy old man still moves. The poison elder leaps in, dropping enemies in green light. Then the kid charges through the haze, eye burning. The ground erupts, spitting weapons and green energy skyward. He drops low, grinning, as they finally clock it. Hidden weapons, buried. The blades blast up out of the dirt in a wave. A whirling vortex of poison swallows the field. He vaults into the air, sword drawn for the strike. Then he blurs across the ground, green light trailing. Crouched low, the protagonist lands hard in the toxic mist. Off he bounds again, a shadow through the green. He rears back, hand cocked, winding up the next blow. Then the kid comes flying back in, grinning, blade trailing. The enemy finally gets it. Every strike hit the same spot. Off to the side, Tang Wu still swings, and someone yells it's useless. Poison and demon energy slam together in the dark. Their blades meet, green and purple flaring at the point. The old man's eye goes wide as a green flower blooms, and he breathes, "Oh no." Then it detonates, a wall of light hurling a body back. The demon grits its yellow eyes. This is its last shot to kill him. That thing is Do-hye-ok, the cult's shapeshifter, now a green-eyed monster. For a beat, everything holds. Tang Wu watches as the protagonist lunges past, reaching for a distant figure. He drags it back, that wild grin spreading. "Where do you think you're going?" His teeth bear in close, smeared with blood. Then the blade tears through, dark blood spraying. The demon throws its head back and screams. Across the field, the old man hunkers down, snarling about the endless hidden weapons. The monster figures he'll snap out of it soon, so this is its one chance. A grinning maw turns toward the elder. In that case, it surges in, ripping forward through a spray of blood. Green light erupts as the thing trades away its own arm for the kill. When it clears, the demon crouches alone in the gouged field, wrapped in green. The poison master lifts his head, one eye glowing, and mutters what that leaves him. By the dark water, a masked woman with twin buns steps forward beside her warriors. 2. Night on a foggy cliff, 2 figures squared off across it. The protagonist stands on bloodied ground, his energy and hidden weapons spent. Across from him, the Yangtze warlord, pirate chief of the 18 waterways, armored and bloody. She faces a white-haired old man, the 2 locked in silence. Green poison aura flares around Tang Wu, one yellow eye glowing. Then the demon lunges, a dark blur of red light and steel. The blow snaps the old elder back, blood spraying from his face. The warlord eats a hit too, teeth bared, blood scattering. Across the clearing crouches the demon, a monstrous shape in purple haze. It dives at Tang Wu, snarling at him to just die. But the poison master holds his ground, face cold. The demon jeers. A lazy donkey roll. No honor for one of the 10 greats. Honor. The elder repeats it back. flat and contemptuous. He threw that off a cliff long ago and surges in. One swing flings the warlord clear across the cliff in a spray of blood. The protagonist watches it happen, eyes going wide. His bloodied hand tightens around the sword. The demon flinches, suddenly aware of the threat closing in. A sword flashes and blood bursts from the beast. The hulking thing staggers back, dust blasting out around it. Battered, the poison elder scoffs that nothing like them could put him down. Cowards, he sneers, without the resolve to face death. His green eye blazes, nor the spine to sacrifice a single thing. Then poison and steel collide in a blinding crash. Dawn breaks over the cliffs and the quiet sea. The warlord stands battered in the rising light, mace dragging. A horned demon looms over a fallen fighter against the sun. Far off, the poison master lies broken in the cratered dirt. A cult warrior recoils. 100 of them couldn't kill one wounded old man. The cultist throws his head back, struggling to believe it.
The demon brute closes in on the downed elder. Tang Wu's face twists in terror, begging it to stay back. "Stay away, monster!" the old man screams as the brute towers closer. The forest goes still along the broken cliff edge. Then, a bloodied hand grips the ledge and hauls itself up. The elder scrambles backward, ranting at the demon to get lost. He lashes out from the ground, screaming for it to leave. The brute stalks closer, breathing hard, saying nothing. Tang Wu's eyes go blank, drooling, his mind gone. The cult warrior gapes. The old man has lost his mind. Battered and swaying, he reaches toward the silver-haired demon. Glowing-eyed, the poison elder rasps that he told the boy to stay away. He stands alone over the fallen, the clearing silent. Then, Tang Wu bursts forward, one eye blazing through the dark. Blood streaks his face, those yellow eyes locked wide. He reaches down and murmurs his granddaughter's name, Hua Ya. Stunned, the elder forces out a strangled howl. A dart shape slams into him, blood bursting from the impact. Grinning through the blood, the attacker gloats. "Finally caught you, Tang Wu." Blood arcs across the clearing as the bodies scatter. The elder knows it now. This is the cult's shifting shadow. The shapeshifter figures how close that was. A touch more force and dead. But the poison master kneels broken at the cliff's edge. The shapeshifter splits into a grin and calls it their victory. Another cultist strides in, jeering at the old fool. He laughs that the elder really thought he was about to die. Leaning in with a sneer, the cultist promises no peaceful death. First the eyes gouged, then the limbs severed, the throat slit last. And after that, he adds, he'll go down the cliff for the women. A battered, scarred body, blood running, still standing against the sunset. The fist clenches, aura rippling off the knuckles. Across from him, a massive arm winds back for the kill. Wide-eyed, the enemy can only marvel that this bastard keeps coming. It pales next to the original, but if he dies here, so be it. He'll burn away every last shred of life he has left. The poison master names it, heaven-shrouding petal rain. His full poison form grins through the green haze. Then he launches skyward, warning that the hidden weapons are live. The enemy barely gets the word out, exploding. Green and gold tear the field apart in one blast. The demon is flung back, ragged and broken, swallowed by the dark. Falling through the void, Tang Wu's last thought is of her wedding. "Please," he begs, "just survive." Red petals drift down over the ruined ground. Spent and kneeling among the dead, he's not alone. Red eyes watch from the dark. That hungry red eye belongs to the protagonist, healed at last and savoring it. Finally, he murmurs, "The next one is coming, Tang Wu."